Now, let's go over Salvador. One of the strongest Carol units in the game. However, you have to generally choose between him or Jellet in D-Tide in most cases. Because you want Lone Seed, you kind of want Thighs on both to really use his full potential. So he's the tank version of Jellet. He does no damage until he starts doing damage. You basically never die. He's a hard tank playstyle. Just watch my Salvador videos. I'm actually going to play a small snippet of my Salvador videos. So basically, you want him E2 to function as a DPS. So he's an infinite scaler. So this, his E2, it makes his Blessed Are the Bones Embryo Fusion up. Very good. It makes his End of Suffering crit rate 25% and Prepare 1. This is essential to make him into a DPS. Now, in addition, his Overexalt, extremely strong. What his Overexalt does is increase his Crimson Furnace limit to up to 10% of your max HP. That means he scales faster. That means he's stronger. It's the only fact in the game that does this. So you want to overexalt at least 5 times during a long stage. And he can basically clear all content in the game. He's one of the few Awakers that can clear every content in the game along with Tawil, regardless of what boss you're facing. And he has the easiest gameplay loop out of any Awaker that can clear the entire game. No problem. His biggest weakness is while you won't die, it might take a while for the enemy to die. So I'm going to go over a clip of me playing Salvador and explain how it works. I did this a lot of times on live streams, memeing on him. And in my Salvador video, I do hate the character. I like his gameplay. I will never level up this character. I will never use it on my main D-Tide team, probably. I have nothing against his gameplay. You know what I have against? His fucking lore, his fucking design. Holy shit, is this unit boring as fuck. You know what his lore is? He's just a regular ass priest. He's just a nice priest. If I wanted a nice priest in my gacha game, I would go to fucking church. I see a nice priest every Sunday. Every fucking Sunday, I interact with a nice priest. Make him an insane, crazy priest who hunts down heretics. Have put skeletons in his closet. His entire lore is that he's a good person. He's just a good person all around. Like every other unit, he has no skeletons in his closet. He has no children in his basement. He has nothing bad about him. There's nothing bad he has ever done. He's fucking vanilla as fuck. That irritates me. Where is my Alexander Anderson? Where is my Kotamine Kire? Where is my Malzgu from Berserk? That's what I want out of a priest character. Where are the torture den dungeons for heretics? Where are him hunting down the Protestants? None. All he does is pray. And in his reproduction story, he resists the urge to assault you. He just asks you to join him in prayer. That's his whole lore. That's his whole design. He's just a nice guy. He's just a nice person. And his entire story, fucking one of his students betrayed him, and he just forgives them. He does not enact vengeance. He does not enact justice. He believes in redemption. He does community service. Holy shit, is he boring. Put some skeletons in his closet. Make him have something evil and dastardly he does. Maybe he has to bathe in virgin blood every Sunday. Do something about him. Maybe he cuts himself. Maybe he's emo. Have him whip himself for the lore like some of those crazy anime priests. He's not a crazy anime priest. Where are my crazy anime priests in him? He's not crazy enough. He's too sane. What the fuck is wrong with you, BF? Make him crazy. Have something wrong with him. Maybe maybe every time he forgives someone, he has to kill a random person. Maybe some people who go to confession goes missing. Have some dark lore behind him. Make him Jekyll and Hyde. Maybe make him a good person, but then at night he transforms into an evil person. But right now, his lore, god awful fucking lore. Okay, now let's find one of my live streams where I went over it. It's probably the one just before I started creating content for CZN. Holy shit! We're encountering garbage of mass solutions. I don't care. Okay. Oh shit. That took a lot out of me. That rant took a lot out of me. Okay. Back to the video. So I have a lot of sour content. This is alert 5. I did this before season started on stream. So, you don't care who the other 2 units are. You use them with dice, and you pick the 2 units with the highest constitution stat. Why would you do that, players? Max HP. Your furnace size is determined by your max HP value. So that's when people pair him with chaos units. It increases furnace gen if you pair him mono. Why do I use Caucus and Goliath in this showcase? Is because on my account, they are the units with the most constitution stats in my account. To showcase Salvador here in this video that I recorded a while ago. Now he generates infinite amount of shields, infinite amount of everything. The easiest gameplay loop in the fucking game. What do? You lone seed its End of Suffering, and you play card. Like, he has the easiest gameplay loop in the history of Mormons. And you Dies Exalt, his thing, End of Suffering. All you gotta do is End of Suffering. Switch to him. So, let's do. Decrease your HP, gain Furnace. Decrease your HP, gain Furnace. More than you you gain more HP in the Furnace than you lose. That's his gimmick. And Furnace size is capped by your max HP. So more max HP you have, the faster he scales. How does he scale, players? Every point of Crimson Furnace you accumulate during battle increases his damage. So the more you build your Furnace, the more damage he does. You keep doing that. And then, eventually, you do Redemption. You gain a shield, it goes to 150% of your Furnace. And this is unaffected by the shield cap of your max HP. This is how you can generate hundreds of shields. Look, it's 800 fucking shields, dude. You don't die. The problem is it takes a while to scale them up. You just want max HP on the Salvador. The easiest gameplay loop in the game. What do you do every turn? You play Dies in his card. You basically ignore whatever other Awaker you have. You don't care. You do his End of Suffering. You End of Suffering. You Dedication. Again, every dedication you use, the more damage he does. And eventually, he does enough damage, you win. And our HP doesn't go down. I was talking to the stream like, what do? Our HP never goes down. It never goes down. Nothing bad ever happens to us. Just like his lore. Garbage. Nothing bad ever happens to anyone. So yeah, that's how you play him. He's the simplest gameplay loop unit in the entire fucking game. Like, you have to be some sort of old trash player to not comprehend how to play as Salvador. You dupe his End of Suffering. You dedicate. And then you... And maybe it's the other way around. It's the last option, first option. Last option, heal. Last option, something. Middle option only when you want to kill, which is never. So, this is the entire gameplay loop. End of suffering, after suffering. I would love this gameplay loop. Don't get me wrong, I love this gameplay loop. Just end of suffering. However, his lore is too dog shit for me to care about him. Thank you, Odachi, for subscribing to me for the Grand Poobah. I appreciate it. Now, next unit. Winkle, Winky, Winky Boy. Winky, Winky, Winkle Boy. Winky, Winky, Winkle Boy. Winky, Winky, Winky Sinky. The next unit we're going to talk about in the support tier is Winkle. Another very strong Alienist battery. She's the strongest standard banner Alienist battery in the game. Without question. She's a battery. What does that mean? She gives Alienist to your other units. Her Exalt feeds 50 Alienist and lets them Exalt up to 2 times this turn. Now this caused confusion to a lot of players. This does not make their next Exalt twice. What it does is after you Exalt, if you can somehow get enough Alienist to Exalt again, you can Exalt twice in 1 turn. That is all it does. So in most cases, unless you're playing Calf or something, this does not matter much. In most cases, you're not going to get enough Alienist to Exalt twice for most units that you are using the Winkle on. Using it for this, choose one Awaker to feed 50 Alienist to. And you can charge up Alienist fast on Winkle with the Energy Beam. Because when you leap affect it, it gives her 20 Alienist when fully leveled up. So that's all she's good for. Why? Psyche Reforge does nothing. It's a 3-cost shield card that doesn't scale that hard enough. It's, again, 41 shield. Every card in your hand, the shield gain is increased by 50%. It's not that much shield for what it demands of you. What it demands of you is fucking 3 mana. This card is too expensive. I don't know what they were thinking about this. This should be at least a 2-cost card. This is way too expensive to play normally. A lot of players just delete Psyche Reforge. To be honest, a lot of players just delete this shit. Because you want to play other cards. You're not going to play Psyche. Psyche is not going to save you. In most cases, when Psyche would save you, you already lost. You already fucked up so bad that Psyche is your last resort. That's the only reason you would use Psyche in the first place, even as a leap effect. Because leap effect is okay. It draws 2 cards and no longer discards your hand. But it's 3 mana. So any 2 cards you draw, you're probably not going to have the mana or the Rift to play them anyway. Like, it's too expensive. It should be a lot cheaper. I'll be fine with it if it was a 2-cost, but as a 3-cost card, it does not deliver enough value. You know, and plus you want to play 1 leap effect. You're playing on her on an Ultra Team usually. You want to play someone else's leap effect. Basically, you're only using it for this and the weakness and Energy Beam. It's very good. Any of you guys watching this, in my G Murphy rap, I do have a line about how weak Energy Beam is. It's not that weak. In all of my raps, I make it into a diss trap, shitting on other Awakers. That is how rap works, my dudes. So I'm not gonna go over video because that's her whole kit. Her Exalt and Energy Beam. You ignore everything else she does. You ignore the counter she gains. This is flat counter. You don't care about this. You don't care about anything else but the Energy Beam. Also removes all enemy bears. There's some bosses that get like 50 bears a turn. This counters that mechanic. So on bosses with barriers, you also bring her. And it's AoE. You're basically using her just for her Exalt. And her Over Exalt is quite nice. What her Over Exalt does is the Awaker you choose to feed elements also gets 35 additional elements every turn for 3 turns. This is a lot of elements. That's why she is the best elements battery standard unit in the game. So, next unit. Thank you, Odachi. Thanks for the heart as well, emoji. So, we're talking about the next unit now. The Aegis. Oh my gosh. Okay, time for the Aegis time. The next unit we're going to talk about is the Aegis. Aegis is probably the best welfare deep dive unit in the entire game. She's probably one of the best supports in the game. Why is she B tier? She's a welfare unit. You're not going to have a lot of dupes with her startup, even though her Exalt is strong. You're not going to have the teams comps to put her in early game. She's mostly used in team comps where you need to stun the enemy and stall. And the stun is very strong unless you cheese a lot of bosses, as I did in every D-Tai Toshin video. Because there are a lot of bosses, because you can stun them. Okay, I'm going to go over her kit first. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So her kit is she's a bone bot. She has so much bone all the time. Inflicts bone. Bone, 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 bone. The enemy will never run out of bone if you have her on your team. 99% of players will run her with Jellet to stun the mobs or stun the boss or to build up your flails. She's the only unit in the game that can stun enemies, otherwise known as petrify. When she devours an embryo, she petrifies, which means a stun. Bosses are not immune to it. Mobs are not immune to it. There's no unit in the game she cannot stun. This is insanely powerful, and you guys play any other card games. Like, almost no game allows you to stun the boss, basically. In this game, you can, with Aegis. And buying you an extra turn is extremely valuable to do your stuff. And not only does it allow you to extend your turn, I'm going to go to the broken thing of it. So when you push a boss or phase them, they get invuln and then they buff themselves for the second HP bar, right? You can't ignore the buff. So what I like to do now is I phase a boss. So let's say it's Dog. In the final form, it's gonna, or Aisha, for example. You push her and then she is invuln. She's at half HP. Next turn, when she's not invuln anymore, she will buff herself and get 80% reinforced, which means she takes 80% less damage. However, if you stun her while she's in her invuln form, she does not cast her buff until the next turn. And the next turn, the invuln falls off. This is a way to cheese bosses, and they haven't patched it yet. It's been in the game for a year. Everyone knows how to do this cheese. You can cheese several bosses in the game. Dog, Aisha, iBoss. Any boss that buffs or gain a powerful buff when they phase, you can cheese. Just stun them. Next turn, they're going to do nothing. They're going to try to cast their buff again. But they're not invuln anymore. So you have another turn before they cast whatever buff they do. That's one of the powerful uses of Eye of Eternity, the Petrify. Again, this only works once per enemy. Afterwards, they are immune to Petrify. They are immune to Petrify for the rest of the battle. They cannot be petrified again. This is why she is good, because of her Exalt, allowing you to cheese units. Her decomp, very strong. It's a free card if the boss has Vuln, or an enemy has Vuln. It refunds the total mana cost, so it's a great source of key flare generation. Her dupes are quite useful all around. Like this, increased damage, small wish, yeah. All of these are good, but her OE is really what makes her shine. This is a basket 25% damage increase on all Wakers when you overexalt. This is huge. You will get it 8 months into the game of playing. 8 months in the game of playing, you're going to hit her overexalt. So it's pretty huge. She's probably the best welfare unit in the game. As much as I love Arita, Aegis is the best welfare unit in the game because of her stun mechanic. No other unit in the game can stun a boss but Aegis. Sup, poet. Next, we're going to go over Lily. Lily is one of the strongest shielders in the game regarding defense cards because of her scaling. I do not invest in her because as I go over the video, if anyone sees me playing her in public, I'd be in jail. I don't like her design. This is too much. Give her some fucking clothes, please, developers. Give her some fucking clothes, and maybe I'll consider playing her. She has no clothes. She's fucking five years old in appearance, dude. I do not buy that she's a 10,000-year-old dragon lolly. Okay? She's just a 5-year-old in troublesome clothes. So she's a poison triggerer. You don't care about that. Why? What you care about is her defense card. The best scaling defense card in the game. Because the base shield amount increases by 0.25% for every 1% death resistance you build on Lily. In addition, she has Endure stacks. What Endure stacks does is it builds up based on the damage you take. I'm going to go over Enlighten a bit. And when you Exalt, it restores 10% of your Endure stat. Actually, more than that. Once you get more dupes. As HP, it removes the Endure. So you heal up based on how much damage you take, and you just stack up Endure stacks. That's her whole mechanic, basically. But her shields are extremely high. And in most poison comps, she does a lot of damage. If I wasn't so against her, I would use her in my G-Dog comp over Agrippa. Because her strike to protect is very strong. Look. It triggers 50% of the poison effect. If the boss has 100,000 poison, it does 50,000 damage. If it crits, it does the full trigger of poison. And remember, poison doesn't go away unlike bleed. So you can trigger this, trigger this, trigger this, trigger this. It's very strong. Strike Back is very strong. And it has Prepare, which means every turn it gets 1 cheaper. Now her Enlightens. E1. When your HP is low 50%, Forbidden Swamp, her skill 2 gets additional shield poison effect double. You don't care about the poison effect. She's not the poison generator. She's the poison triggerer. So you care about the shield. She's just a shield unit. Shield unit all around. Strike to protect, prepare 1, update, prepare 2. That means instead of reducing the cost by 1, it reduces the cost by 2. And the base damage crit rate is increased. It's a lot of damage. She's a very good unit. And turn start, endure equal to 10% max HP. Yeah, it's just more endure. Overexalt, more enduring, adds 2 more strike to protect cards with exhaust your hands. Very good unit. And her Soul Forge is nothing. It's very good. Yes. Then increases it stacks up more. So eventually, if you have a fully wailed out, fully built Lily, you're gonna have a 400 plus defense value on this card. Insanely strong unit for shielding you, keeping you alive. Would you pull on her over other units? Probably not, because she keeps you alive, but she does not do a lot of damage on her own. She does not generate a lot of poison on your own. Remember, she's a poison triggerer. All of the poison she inflicts is flat poison. So you want to run her with another poison unit, or just play her for her shields. You're using her for 2 things, for her shields or for her poison trigger, not her poison generation. Sorry, guys. I've been awake for a long time now. I've been talking for a long time, so my throat is all sorts of fucked up. Nautilus. Extremely strong unit. She dropped down a tier. Remember, there are more units, so she falls down a tier, unfortunately. Nautilus is still very good. Nothing has changed about her. She's still an extremely good unit. Why is she extremely good? The shield she gens and the effect she has is so good. You ignore this, basically. You ignore that daily maintenance. So, her entire thing is her E3. She has one of the strongest exalts in the game. Because ready, set, fix, the counter damage is very good. It's very useful in Blue Wool. I use her in Blue Wool when I'm not using my G-Doll. So this E3, like E1, E2, E2 is very good because it gives no trespassing, prepare 1. E1, this is useless. E1 is useless. E2, E3 is what you really want her at. So what her E3 does is after you exalt, you are immune to fragile, weakness, and vulnerable for 1 turn. That means if the boss was about to apply any of these 3 effects to you, it does not apply. You are invulnerable to these effects. There are a couple bosses you can sort of cheese with this effect. There are a couple of story bosses, let's say Chapter 9 End Boss, for example, that gives you 99 turns of fragile, weakness, and vulnerable, and you're expected to cleanse it using a boss gimmick several turns later. Instead of playing through that, you can just exalt before they apply 99 turns of fragile, weakness, and vuln to you, and you can just kill the boss like normal. She bypasses a lot of boss mechanics because of this exalt ability on her E3. What does her exalt do though? It increases your current shield by 50%, which means if you have 400 shield, it gives you 200 more shield, plus the 44. Very good. You use her with caster, use her with Tawil, use her with anyone. Very good unit because of that. Now, she's also a small ailments battle. This is a very high value ailments regen card. It gives another Wicker 20 ailments for 1 mana. Those of you who have watched the values in this game know that this is a high value ailments battery card. 1 mana for 20 ailments to another unit, and it grants you shield. This is a high value card. No trespassing is retained and it has prepare 1 on the E2. What it does is it grants you shield and temporary counter, and on a boss battle it gives you 3 times temporary counter. You don't play this for the counter late game. Early game, this goes hard because the scaling is a bit off. This is very high value early game. Late game, this might as well say do nothing counter-wise. You only use it for the shield and it's retained in your hand, so it kind of thins out your deck if you just hold it in your hand. And having one retain is fine. It helps you cycle through your deck faster. You never delete this card, basically. Rouse is rare in R2, like Knowledge Shield and counter increase 50%. She doesn't generate a counter her own. So this Exalt is quite strong on Blue Will and counter comps. Because what it does is it deals 150% of your counter attack as fixed damage to all enemies as well. It's an AoE attack based on your current counter stack. If you have 50,000 counter, it does 50,000 damage. You have 100,000, blah, blah, blah. And her Overexalt ups it to 500% instead of 150%. So that's why the Pandia comp works in CN. So if you have 50,000 counter, 5 times 50,000 does 250,000 damage. AoE, very strong. So that's just an example why she's a very good unit. She's a very simple unit. I'm not going to show gameplay footage of her because I already have gameplay footage of her. Just go to my channel, watch my coaching stream. I use her a lot. Who the fuck is Sarah John? Why are people keep sending me friend requests out of nowhere? Who are you and what do you want? Who are you and what do you want? Another e-girl, probably. Fake e-girl. So Goliath, he is getting another buff, but he's already very strong as his support. Probably the reason why they're buffing him, because no one plays him as the way he's intended. Not even me. No one plays him the way he's intended ever since the Chinese find out how to play him as a support. So basically, if you go into any of my videos or whatever, or any of the guides, you'll see everyone use him as a support. He was intended to be a DPS. He does almost no DPS compared to his role as a support unit in 24 comps. Why is he used as a support? He's one of the best strength and technical damage generators in the game for burst turns. He's one of the best burst turn units to help your team synergize with his Exalt option too. Like all of his cards, very low value. But I still recommend pulling him E2. He's a support utility. Like, you don't play him for his damage, you play him for his Law of the Strong and his Exalt. Because this is the only card in the game, as I went over 5 hours ago in my to will section. It removes all of the enemy's strength at E2, and you gain the same amount as temporary strength. Enemies in this game scale strength faster than you do. Endgame. Certain bosses can generate thousands upon thousands of strength. Let's say Fran. It's not Fran. It's one of the other Dorazine bosses, for example. He generates like 29, probably a little bit more than that strength every time you hit them. Eventually, it'll go up to 3,000 strength. Just steal that 3,000 strength that turn by playing this card. It makes the enemy weaker. Some bosses like Headhunter, for example, with D-Tide Alert 5, they generate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of strength if you play their mechanic wrong. Because they have a mechanic that's like, if you do this, if you do that, the boss buffs himself. Guess what? With Law of the Strong, you steal all their strength. That's why he's extremely good as a support. His Exalt is also extremely good. Why? Exalt option 2, which is Usurp. It's Usurp, it's option 2. You gain temporary strength equal to 60% of your technical damage. This can be hundreds upon hundreds of strength. If you have 1,000 technical damage, you get 600 strength, basically. You see where I'm going at? So you're basically using him for that option. You don't care about his DPS. They fucked up with this. So yeah, that's why he's very strong as a burst support unit. You don't play his cards, you exalt option 2, don't even care, and use it to buff your real DPS and play. Not even show the gameplay of it. Just try it. That is why he's very strong. Now, up on to the next unit. Infinite scaling, yeah, don't care about his infinite scaling ult there. Just go over all of my guys, FR equal. I have a lot of beginner guys and updated the holy spreadsheet to include playlists of all of them. Just click this playlist, the spreadsheet, into any of my Mormons videos. Currently recording my updated tier list video, so if you want to stick around for it, go ahead, because I'm currently recording it and I'm editing it too. So Karen, she was A tier. Under the old tier list, she would still be A tier. Remember, everything is relative. Since stronger support units have come out, she has fallen down one tier to B. I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it, but she's now B. She's one of the best supports in the game because of giving her marvelous cuisine, but she is still less valuable than the units above her. She's generally used in calf comps or mono will comps when you need the arithmetica from her exalt, which gives her a marvelous cuisine, which you can use 3 times. Every time you use it, you inflict poison, or you inflict a random debuff on the enemy at a certain dupe level, and you get 1 mana back, up to 3 depending on which enlightened level you have of her. That's basically what she does. You don't care about any of her cards. Another reason why she's good, she has 2 retain cards only. That means you can just hold these 2 cards in your hand forever to cycle through your deck faster. She does nothing. You do nothing with her. That's the joy of her as a support. You don't have to interact with her in any way. She can just fit on your team, hold that toadstool, retain in your hand, make it cheaper every turn for when you need the weakness, and just play it for free, for the free weakness, whenever you want. You never play the Silent Fealty, but it's retained in your hand, same as an exhausted card. So you can cycle through your deck faster to high value cards. Sometimes the best thing you can do is do nothing. And then that's what Karen brings to the table. Nothing. She brings nothing to the table, and that's why she's better than Clem. She doesn't require anything from you to work. Just wait, exalt, retain cards, cycle through your deck faster in mono because 2 of her cards are in your hand. So all you have to do is delete these 2 cards if you want. She's basically act like she doesn't exist until you get your exalt, get the marvelous cuisine. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes you want to use your mana to do something else. She does a lot for your team by doing nothing, by not getting in the way of your real carries for only 2 retained cards. And she is a chaos unit, the ultimate mixer realm. Now let's go over her enlightened levels. Maze Decree. Ignore all this. Ignore all this. This does nothing. You don't care about that. This is the only thing that really matters. Her E3 and her overexalt. Her oversoul, what it does is it adds 3 marvelous cuisines. 1 in your hand, 1 in your draw pile, and 1 in your discard pile for 9 mana. You get basically 9 mana whenever you want. It's very good on Calf. That's why she's a very good unit overall. Sometimes the best thing you can do is do nothing. And that's what Karen brings to the table. Nothing. She can fit into any comp. She doesn't get in the way compared to other support units. I do have Kosher Day. It's at 6 p.m. Not right now, though. I'm making this tier list update video. I'm almost done. I'm not almost done. I still have 25% there. It's still probably like another hour or two before I'm done. Okay, let me get back into Flares mode again. Riker. Riker is one of the strongest supports in the game. He has fallen from A tier. Remember, better supports have come up. I place him now in B tier. He's an extremely RNG comp. His power is card draw. That's the reason why you bring him. And he's the most RNG unit in the game. Technically speaking, he could be one of the strongest units in the game. If you treat everything like your God is on your side. Is God is on your side? Do you believe? Go over my Riker video. I can explain why God is on your side. So basically, he's a gotcha within a gotcha. He rolls dice. He operates off of crit. So what investment level do you want on him? E1 or E2? That's fine. You can clear all content as a support in there. You're just using him generally if you're using support Riker as a support. Unless you're using God Riker. Some furries, since he's the only furry in the game, use Riker as a DPS main. And he is viable as a DPS main if you have God Riker, which means an extremely wailed out Riker. Extremely wailed out Riker, assuming God is on your side always, potentially has one of the highest damage counts in the game. Why? RNG, baby. He also gives you these relics, these dice relics too, with how much gold you generate. I'm going to go over that later. So, his unexpected gain. Unexpected gain, what it does is you can choose one card from the draw pile to draw and place in hand. Any card from your draw pile. And if it crits, it reduces the card's cost by 1 or 2 depending on if you have his E1 or not. His E1 lets you reduce that card by 2 if you crit. If you don't crit, it's just a draw card. That's why that's the first step of RNG. This is the least RNG thing about him. So, his showdown also gains 3 elements for every crit hit on his E1. It can hit up to 6 times. This is just more money. He also scales with how much damage. His E3 makes him scale with how much money you use to earn the exploration stage on his Exalt. And lets you play his strike and defense if you don't have enough mana like Hamel with money instead. So in the final battle, when you have no use for money, you can play his strike and defenses for free double play. His Overexalt is very powerful as well. Like, you can build him DPS if you whale him out extremely hard. A lot of furries swear by God Riker is how I dub that build. When you build all in crit damage and shit, and rely on him for your sole source of damage. You know why? Multi-hits. Insane high base damage multi-hits and crit. So, basically all in. This rolls a dice 1 through 6. For each roll, if you roll a 6, you draw 6 cards and you gain the strength effect 6 times. I don't have this level because I don't play God Riker. I don't use my Riker as God. I use it to support Riker. So a 6 times the strength gain on his all in. And on Showdown, it can roll a 6 or more if you have certain Riker relics. If you roll a 6, guess what happens? You get a free 0-cost unexpected gain. This continues the Riker DPS combos or continue to combo. However, these two effects are pure RNG. You cannot whale a 6 dice roll. Whether you're a free-to-play player or a whale who spends thousands of dollars on the game, you cannot control whether you roll a 1 or a 6. So that's why he's a very high variance unit if you want to play him as a DPS, which very few people do. I believe in it. I believe in God. I believe in the God Riker. So I always borrow the same God Riker whenever I decide to do quick dailies, quick weekly content. And it has performed very well. It helps me clear the stages a lot quicker. So let me go over the best God Riker I have found. This guy spent a shit ton of money on his God Riker. He's cleared all content with this. So this is how insane this guy is. Plus 12 Daffodil wheel. Plus 12 Riker wheel. Plus 12 Riker. Max out level. And his Covenant set. This is the gear set. This is the memory fragment set. He 100% it. All in on crit damage. All in. I cannot stress how much resources it takes to 100% this. Anyone who has rolled Covenants knows how much resources he probably dumped into this Riker just to make him a DPS build. Okay? This is the God Riker build. Would most people recommended it? Hell no. But when it works, it works. Will you roll a 6? Probably not. You do not believe hard enough. But that's why he's an insane RNG unit if you play him as a DPS. But furries do play him as a DPS. Don't get me wrong. Furries do play him as a DPS. Most people are only going to shut up, play him as a support. So his additional mechanic is dice. So he gets 3 Riker relics based on how much money you've earned during the stage. He excels in exploration stages. So that's his talent right here. Winner takes all. So after you get 75, 150, and 300 sigils, you get to choose a Riker relic out of 3. Now there are 3 Riker relics. I went over it in my video, but I'm going to go over it briefly here. Sorry. Go to my Riker video if you want exactly what it does. I'm going to tell you exactly what it does, but you're going to have the screenshots. The first one, crit rate for the entire team increased by 10%. Second one, you get a shining dice every time you posse, or a regular dice. What the dice does, if you roll, you get crit damage and you get temporary strength. And if you roll a 4 or higher, it inflicts vuln on everyone. Last relic increases your crit hit damage for your whole team. That scales up based on the rolls Riker does every turn in dice rolls, up to 50%. What does his rouse do? His rouse upgrades the dice. So the crit rate dice now increases the crit chance to 15% instead of 10%. The random dice rolls are now increased by 1. It can no longer roll a 1. It can roll even a 7 now. The dice roll range is now 2 to 7 on all of his effects. Upgrading the fucking dice or shining dice gets it as shining dice, which makes it a higher roll value. And now if you roll a 4 or higher, it also inflicts weakness. and it does more stuff. So most people choose to upgrade the dice. And lastly, instead of it gives you more crit damage and more key flare for the big mouth. Big mouth. More crit damage, whatever. Instead of 30%, it's now 50%. Yeah. That is the right record does. He's just a pot of greed draw unit. Unless you build him as a DPS. How many of you watching this video are gonna build him as a DPS? Probably 3. Probably 3 of you. Statistically speaking, probably 3 of you are gonna build him as a DPS. I did not sleep. I've been streaming the entire time. Chipuhu. mm. Okay, next unit. Tolo. So, yes, I did. I made a video on it. So, Tulu. What Tulu does is he was the first limited awaker that came into the game that aged horribly. As I said in my Tulu review video, I now lowered him to C tier. He's got eliminated, unfortunately. He's now lowered to C tier. The reason why is because better awakers have come out. This will come out because his kit is extremely outdated with all this temporary strength, for example. On the JP version of the game, he gives you permanent tentacle damage. Permanent shit. This one, he gives you temporary. So, he is, however, the fastest AoE clear in AoE mob events with his overresult. If you unlock his overresult, he has the quickest clear time on any event that requires you to farm AoE mobs because of his overresult, which I'll showcase in a bit. His exalt also aged terribly. Temporary crit rate, temporary strength, gain 1 tentacle. Yeah, this is everything is all outdated with kits. Abyss Order does a decent amount of damage. Pierce, too expensive. The spell weakness, again, all of his kit is extremely outdated for the current state of the game. That's why he's in the position he currently is. He's the first limited awaker that's been released. He's the first basically limited unit we've ever got in the game. So, obviously, he's going to be weak nowadays. But he's still usable. Doesn't mean he's bad. There are just better options for you than Tulu. If you go into the Chinese chat, they will always spam the wheelchair emoji whenever you mention Tulu. Why that is the case is because they consider him a wheelchair unit. He doesn't function by himself. He needs other awakers to help him function as a unit in the current modern day. So that's why the Chinese community always spam the wheelchair emoji when you mention him. He's a wheelchair unit in the current state of the game. His kit, everything about it, I went over it in my last tier list video. Nothing has changed. He hasn't been buffed. Nothing has changed about his kit at all. Nothing has changed at all. No buffs, no nothing. So, if you watch my last tier list, you know why he is weak. If you play him, you know why he is weak compared to other units. Now let's go to the next unit on the list. Cassia. Cassia went from D tier to C tier. She's now a decent unit in discard comp. They finally fixed my issue with her with the recent buff. What did they change? They made her a discard unit. She did not have this aftershock effect, and poof, did not discard regular cards before. So they added this Soul Forge talent here. So this is the biggest buff to Cassia ever. After Poof is released for the first time, it triggers the aftershock effect of shuffling cards. Beforehand, Poof shuffles the card, but does not count as a discard. So she does not work in discard comps. Since then, they changed it, they buffed her. Now she works in discard comps. Now I use her with Arita Corpo. She's now a good unit. She's not old trash anymore. She graduated from the dumpster piles into society. She dug herself out of the dumpsters and now performs at the traveling circus in C tier. Again, his only real use is for her Cassia cheese in D-Tide with her image relic or in discard comps now. Because symptoms aren't really a big thing in the end game in the current state. There's not that many things where her symptom state effects comes into play. Or her damage. You don't really want to level up anything on her. She doesn't scale well damage. Now she's just good because she now functions well in discard, and this has an aftershock effect of shuffling an insight into draw pile. She's very good in discard comps now. I will make an updated video showcasing her on the discard comp and in general. But before then, she was pretty bad. But yeah, she's now a decent unit in discard comps. Other comps, I still wouldn't recommend her. So I will not showcase videos now. I will perfect my Arita Cassia comp and show it at a later date. But yeah, Cassia is now a decent unit. Faint, C tier. I only really use her on the GL comp because you kind of abuse the death resist gimmick. The reason why I rate her lower compared to other people is because I don't really believe in death resist unless you're building a count on death resist. Because typically speaking, your comp should be good enough to beat a boss without triggering DR. And if you are going to trigger it once, you can just keep retrying until you trigger it. Because the starting death resist is enough to get one death resist trigger. If you need multiple death resist trigger, then rather than having this unit or other DR or revive units on your team, just build a better defensive team. Just have more things, in your arsenal. So that's why I don't rate her that highly. But she is very good in the GDL comp I showcased earlier, which is just die, res, die. It's no, all I need is kill. Yeah, all you need is kill the manga and the Edge of Tomorrow movie, or Die Tomorrow Die by Tom Cruise that was copied off it. I read the original manga and light novel, which is all you need is kill. All you casuals who, watch Edge of Tomorrow not knowing that, I'm better than you. That's why I'm better than you. Yeah, that's basically that comp. Die, repeat, die, whatever the fuck it is. All you needed is kill. That's what I know the series from. I read the manga, okay? The original manga, the original light novel it came from, which is better because it has better mechs and it has a better redheaded waifu, okay? Emily Blunt, great actress. The character in All You Need Is Killed is a better waifu. She's an anime waifu. Okay, I'm getting a bit ridiculous. You want to level up her Exalt, and she gives you a lot of DR. The DR she gives you is quite large. So she's very good at your proccing DR a lot. She's very good in the GDL comp. That's where I use her from. That's all she really brings to the table. Letting you die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat for big hits. So Faint is pretty average in my book because she is good at comp, but in general, on your main team, if your team is already strong enough and you make your team stronger, you're not going to really trigger DR. And if you're not going to trigger DR, then she doesn't bring enough to the table. And if you're building around triggering DR, that means you expect to die. If you go into a battle expecting to die, there's already something wrong with your team in the main story stages. Unless you're expecting to die on a straight to boss fight, which is what the GDL comp is. That's my philosophy with the gaming here. So that's why I rate her C tier the way she is. Now, some teams might need to die. Like Thorazine, he fucking needs it. He fucking needs her to function properly. But again, I don't really believe in DR that much. Speaking of another DR revive character, Celise. Celise is the same thing, but her image rock is very good. She does do a lot of heals, And she do this weakness retain card. She has retain card on these two, so she's quite decent. Because like Karen, the best thing you can do is nothing. By having 2 retain cards, you can treat it as exhaust. So because you can shuffle your deck through faster if you use Celise. And she gives you Aerith, which is mana on her Exalt and on her Tinkless Stream. These both give you 1 mana. Very good. Very good. That mana can come in clutch. These triggers are meh. There is a CN comp. I cannot go without referencing the CN meta comp that like 2 people run, which is the Realm Mastery Celise using 2 +12 wheels. Her +12 wheel and Lay's +12 wheel. It does generate a significant amount of healing. I do not believe in it because it requires you to go into wheel jail and pull for her wheel and fucking Lay's wheel +12 for the Realm Mastery with Returnal line. It gives you a lot of starting tentacles as well. I do not recommend it because you really want to go for the high value damage wheels first. And by the time you get to these wheels, 2 years have already passed and new units will already come out. This is a very long-term investment comp if you really want to try the CN build of Celise. They have the game longer than we do, so they can afford to experiment with more wheel choices. You as an NA or English player, which I assume you are, if you're a Chinese person watching my video, thank you. But I know you don't have this problem. I know you don't have this problem. You can do this right now, Chinese person. So yeah, what her Exalt does and what her E3 does is the first time you die, you revive with X amount of HP, and all Awakers grant 25 ALMS. This is a strong effect, and with her E3, it can trigger again after 6 turns. That's quite strong, and her overresult is pretty decent as well. However, her con is that if you're doing too well, she's kind of a bit useless, just like Fang. If you never proc that death, why would you run her over another carry unit? Over another better support that gives you more strength? Over another better support like Karen, which gives you more mana? Over another support which does something else, shields you more so you don't die in the first place. That is my philosophy. If you don't use her revive, it's like she doesn't even exist. What is her purpose on this team besides these cards? Because you can get other sources of weakness from other support units that is cheaper than a 3 cost, for example. That is my take on Celise and why I don't value her that highly. You can disagree with me all you want, but I hardly need to proc DR, and if I do, I only proc it once. If you proc it more than once, there's something wrong with your team, and you have to go back to the drawing board. You need to lower the difficulty. You need to do something else if you're still procking DR. It's not consistent enough to be procking DR that early. Because if you're procking DR, that means your team isn't either doing enough damage to kill the boss, which means you're probably not going to kill the boss anyway. Or if you do proc the DR and you kill the boss, you probably could have played the turn better. You probably could have had another unit that'll help you not have to proc that DR. That just incentivizes bad gameplay decisions in my book. So let's go to the next unit on the list, Erica. Erica, the reason why she's in C tier, she's a very good alert key flare gen in Ultra and a welfare unit. The problem is she shares a welfare pool with Aegis and Arita, and 99% of players would prefer Aegis over her. So basically you're going to choose between Aegis or Erica as your second person from your welfare shop, because you do not have enough monthly resources to buy all 3 and the wheels. And the wheels are high priority to +12. So I'm going to go to the welfare shop real quick. So this is the welfare shop. Each of their dupes costs 8,000 of these currencies. Maximum you can get per day is 900 from doing the daily. As of the current time, they're changing it with the Annie. You're probably going to get a little bit more. But it's 900 a day. So times 30. 900 times 30 is 27,000 a month. So buying 2 of this is already 16,000. And each of these wheels costs 5,000 pearls. So it's 15,000. You can't have enough to buy all the wheels already. You don't have enough currency to buy everything. And you would value getting dupes of the wheel over getting another Awaker dupe. Because these wheels are very valuable to plus 12. Because remember, once you plus 12 an SSR wheel, you can equip another SSR wheel. So you're going to choose between her or Arita. And I choose Arita because I want another DPS, and Arita is more fun to play. That's a common consensus among players because Arita is a DPS unit. Erica is a support unit. Generally, people would prefer the fun of having another DPS unit built up over an Erica because Aegis is too good to skip. Erica is caught in the waistline side until you finish up your Arita or your Erica, or your Aegis, which could take 1.5 years. So you're gonna have her up 2 years after the game, after you start playing the game. Will you even play the game after 2 years? Have to ask yourself that. What will generate you the most fun? Are you that patient, for example? Most people aren't. That's why most people will go for the Arita and the Aegis, to have more fun now. That is why she's in C tier. You're probably not going to get enough dupes for her to be as impactful for your account. Because you cannot whale these dupes, other than using the monthly dupe, which is basically inting your resources. So most of you will have a very weak Erica for most of your account lifespan. Will the game even last 2 years from me making this video? I do not know. Most of you guys will have a weak Erica for the rest of the game's lifespan. So that's why she's in C tier. The few of you who choose her over Arita, she will jump up in a tier. She will become very useful with more dupes. However, very few of you are going to want to choose Erica over Arita, because if any of you try Arita, you'll find her gameplay extremely fun. Most people agree that Arita is a very fun unit to play because of her trillion hit gameplay. I did not cover the new Yuki kit yet. Do focus on finishing this. Ogier, despite his placement in D tier, is extremely strong. I would say he's A or B tier when invested. However, most of you watching this video, in general, are just starting out the game. Maybe you are playing the game for a few months. You do not have a powerful Ogier yet. You do not have him plus 12. He is a welfare unit, which means you get 2 dupes of him every month if you're buying them from the shop. When you start out, he's going to be E0 basically, or E2. He's going to be extremely weak. He's going to basically do nothing for you. That's why he's that low on a tier list. Once you get more dupes on him, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger until he becomes a very good unit that you're going to add on your team every D-dive. Every time you do the endgame content, once you have him plus 12, you will always use an Ogier. I always use an Ogier now, since I have this many copies, because I'm a long-term veteran player. Like, these are his values later on. His stats are going to be very low. You're not going to have the levels. You're not going to have the dupes to make him really a strong unit early on. But once you do, he does deliver value. He does deliver a lot of value for your account in every regard. He gives you money. He gives you Realm Master, every dupe. And he's a very good unit. However, when you're starting out the game, you can just forget about him. Forget about him, play the games for like 4 or 5 months, keep buying his dupes, and then revisit him. You can use him then, after 5 months. You get 2 dupes a month. So after 5 months, it's enough dupes to make him extremely strong enough for you to use in the end game content. When you're starting out, he's gonna be very weak. That's basically it. All of you guys know what his kit is, because I assume you beat the tutorial before you watched this video. If you haven't, then I hope you enjoyed this 5-hour video. I assume you're playing the tutorial while watching this video. I assume none of you guys are taking 5 hours to do the tutorial. I'm assuming you're you are not taking 5 hours to beat the tutorial right now. I prep my 24 run. Oh, sure. Okay. Fucking Monchi being a goat and prep his 24 run. Thank you. Thank you. I'm streaming right now, so just share your stream. I'll record this. I appreciate it.
Close my door. Okay.
You sound a little different.
Yeah, I'm on my phone because I'm traveling. I don't have my computer, you know? I need to figure out how to share screen on cell phone.
That's
But
fine. I need to
let me log.
switch the thing anyway. I need to switch the stream set anyway. Take your time. Okay, this is Monchi. People watching the streams. My 30 to 100 viewers, depending on the time of day.
Sure.
It is a hundred views at times now. I'm quite surprised. Quite surprised
Look at
myself.
that. Big money, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Big money. All
It's
right,
where all
let's
my
see.
real money
What
comes
do I
from.
need? Share your screen.
Yeah,
Dark.
we're both CPAs and we make no money. Remember, guys, to tip your local CPA. Tipping is very important for your accountant.
Are you able to see or no?
Yeah, I'm able to see. Hold up. Yep. Yeah, I can see. Start recording now.
Okay, I'm gonna. You can see my
Yeah, I can see. I
my
can see your stream.
game, right?
Yeah, I see your game. Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I can just go,
Yeah,
right?
just go. I already recording. Yeah, just go.
All right. So nothing too crazy. Weakness. The HP is not very high, so this will like one
Yeah,
shot
that's the
when I
problem with
get my OE.
doing my D-Tide. I was doing wave 3. I was too lazy to go to all the way to Greppa, and my teams aren't strong enough to make it there with 24. Thank you for taking down
See, I believe in the white stance. You see that? Two stances for losers.
here. Why stands for losers? Uh,
Okay, perfect.
yeah, getting this setup perfect is very hard. Like, you don't need it
So
most of the time.
important.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. So like you'll see this die, right? Three, perfect. Okay. So red stance. Get some tentacle damage. Oh, it fucked up, but it is what it is. I will have to skip the lightning strike or lightning retribution because I discarded the frenzy, but
Yep.
it reset the deck and it came back.
Yep.
Oh well, whatever.
Unfortunate. Yeah, 55,000 poison. Saw here.
Yeah. So with it, it would have done more because like all I gotta do is lightning and then use Ramona Exile to draw it back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the normal play, but didn't work out. So that's it. So one turn or turn two, 540k. Could have been more without the if I had lightning
Right,
letting
lightning,
use it,
yeah,
but
25% more.
didn't end up happening because of what it was. It doesn't matter. She doesn't have enough HP, and I can't show it in phase two because
Yeah,
what's it
the
called? They
whole
do the
reinforced thing. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
the whole reinforcing of the boss.
But
Yeah,
yeah, the problem is you cap out at poison.
yep,
So if you see that, like it drops from 70k to
yeah,
15k.
and it'll drop away
You
all the
can't
way
hold
to
it.
like the 20 30k range. It's very low. The poison cap is very low.
Yeah, but like Exalt does 60k damage, Fortress, right?
Yep,
It is what it is. And then of course, when you get to the 10 stacks of what's it called?
finale.
Um, Finale, exactly. It's
More
it
poison
does more
damage.
damage,
Yep,
right? Like it's just a combo on top of it. But that's basically the 24 idea.
yep,
Nothing too crazy.
yep. Okay. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna end the recording here.
Yep.
Back to my video. I've been streaming for how long have I been streaming? Wow. 18 hours.
Getting paid your salary too.
Yeah, I am. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. You guys on chat streams heard me calling in to work. They don't know I'm a content creator. I did it on stream. I called in to work on stream and said I was sick. So it's like okay. I did it on stream earlier. So
God, dude, are you
yeah,
serious?
I called in to work on stream.
Oh, fuck.
Everyone saw it. Everyone heard it. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah. I'll be back on Monday. Yeah, I'll be back on Monday. And they totally believe I am sick because of the lump and everything.
Yeah, because you fucking are sick,
I'm not
dude.
sick. They 100% believe it. They're like, yeah, we figured. They're like, yeah, we figured. Yeah,
Yeah, because you are fucking sick.
I'm not sick. I'm fine. You're
That's
crazy.
what I'm talking about.
What do you mean? What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with me, dude. I'm perfectly healthy. But yeah, I called in sick on stream. They're never gonna find out because my voice sounds nothing like this IRL apparently. So
You're fucking hilarious.
what do you mean? I'm hard at work. I'm hard at work right now, dude.
Yeah. Alright, I can't complain because,
Mhm. Mhm.
when I'm at work, that's when, Discord is my work more than anything.
This point is your.
Like the amount I
Mhm.
like the amount of times at work I'm on Discord is like 90% of the time, I'll be honest. It is what it is.
I mean,
It's a very hard job.
yeah.
Accounting requires you to take a lot of mental breaks very frequently.
I know. Frost doesn't understand the stress we're under all the time,
Yeah, all day long.
all day long.
Stress, stress, stress.
Every day is just
And there's
stress.
a lot of creative work, right?
Mhm.
So,
I
you
don't
have to think of,
I don't even
scripts
do
for
spreadsheets in like
so
years. Everyone under me does. I don't.
yeah,
I
you
haven't
do
touched it.
you only focus on what grift you need to sell to your partners.
Yeah, it's not a grift. It's a valid thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
believe in it.
all I do is talk to people about how they need to get their work checked.
Oh yeah, I haven't touched an Excel spreadsheet at work in years. I haven't touched it in years. Oh, no,
What
but
the fuck? What the fuck do you do?
what do you mean? Important stuff. Important stuff.
Grifting.
It's not
Oh my
grifting.
god.
Okay, I do. No, actually, I don't. Someone else touches the Excel spreadsheet mirror. I just look over and do yeah, just do that.
Yes. Yeah, I understand, but you still touch it. There you go. I don't. You think I prep any working papers or anything like that? Hell no.
Yeah. I look at Excel and I'm like, yeah, seems good. Good enough.
That is hilarious.
I mean, You, it's not. Was that really that surprising? You're an accountant too. We're both in the same role. It's literally what we do. It's
Yeah,
the
but
easiest,
I still
hardest job
need
ever.
Excels, you
Yeah,
know? I still have to look at them. For you to say you haven't touched them,
yeah,
that's the surprising thing. You know what
yeah. I
I
haven't
mean?
touched them. I haven't touched them. I haven't changed. I'm saying yeah, that looks good enough.
You have to review your people's work, right?
I I trust them. It's just crypto stuff, dude. I trust them.
It's just all fake shit.
no,
Okay, great.
no, no. They're all real shit. It's all on the blockchain. It's all real stuff.
It's all fake and fraudulent stuff. So yes, you don't have to look at it. Yeah, make some
No,
money. I get
it
it. I
doesn't change.
totally get
The
it.
secret of being in the innovation and stuff is that it doesn't matter what the Excels are like. Like, I don't tell anyone this. It doesn't matter whether the values are right or wrong. No one looks at it
But
anyway.
that's all. That's okay. That's the reality for everything at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And
Like,
if
let's be real.
something does go wrong, it's not our fault. It's something wrong with the
Yes.
blockchain or crypto. It's not our fault.
Well, that. So, have you ever done audit or never?
No, I've never done that. I just went tax straight into this.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I did audit like when I was an intern, I guess, but I don't remember any of it. Okay, it was very recent. I totally remember that. It's very recent when I did it as an intern. I was an intern very recently. I'm very
Yeah.
young.
20 fucking years ago,
No,
I'm sure.
no, very young ago. But yeah, I don't remember
20
shit.
years.
I don't remember shit.
Are you streaming right
Yeah, I'm
now?
streaming right now.
Okay. Viewers or flares? He's 45 plus.
No, I'm not 45 plus, dude. He's lying. He's lying. I'm like mid 20s at best. Probably 19. I'm 19.
I watched your video where you called yourself fucking old.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was fake players. That was
That was
YouTube
like 2 days
players. I
ago.
don't know what you're talking
You
about.
released the video and you were just like, I just want to let people know I'm not as young as most people here or something like that.
I don't know what you're
Right?
talking about.
And you were like, I won't say this very often.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's fake news. Like earlier, I was playing music that I grew up with, and no one got any of them. Like I was playing music, like
Dude,
hold.
I'm telling you, no one knows about this fucking automatic seatbelt, okay?
No, this
New
is new.
cars that had that
This is
shit.
new. This is new info. So I was playing for all my YouTube playlist, and one of my fucking uh, people who were watching my stream was like, "This sounds like a lot like the music my dad listens to." I'm like, "What the fuck?" There's no way. Their dad is just up to date on the newest trends in music. I was just playing music from my playlist. Like this sounds like a lot like the music my dad listens to. I'm like, what the, like how old are you? And she's like, yeah, I'm like 21 or 22. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no,
I can totally see that. Yeah, because you're 45 plus. You could
no,
still be in the 50 range. I don't
no,
know.
no. I'm young, mid 20s. Trust. Dude, this
Right.
guy just commented.
I totally
Flares
agree.
is a millennial for sure. See, young millennial, mid 20
No,
millennial.
he's a young Gen X, actually.
Anyway, I
Actually, let me look at the ages for millennials. Because you might be one. I know I'm at the tail end, but let me see.
no, I'm Gen Z.
Yeah, okay, that's possible. Millennial is 1981, so you could be 44. I could believe that. I
No.
could believe that.
That is too old. You are wrong about my age. I'm way younger than you, Manchi. You know what I believe? I'm way younger than you.
All right,
You just grew up rich.
alrighty.
You just grew up rich, dude.
Anyways, I'm gonna go watch
Yeah.
your stream. I need to do some. I need to do some actual work, a presentation.
I do presentation too. I do actual work at my job. I do.
Exactly.
I present smart chains and blockchains.
Yeah, exactly. I have to present stuff too, otherwise I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah. But you're presenting fake stuff,
Yeah,
unlike
you
me.
have to grift. You have to sell your grift. I have to,
It's not a grift.
say,
Why does everyone keep saying
it's
it's a grift? If it wasn't a grift, it wouldn't be a job position at
bro,
my firm.
you're selling fucking blockchain technology bullshit to old boomers, aka your bosses, and trying to convince them that it's gonna make them money.
No, no, it's actually it doesn't
Like,
require.
you literally somehow fooling the old people that this stuff is real.
It is real. There are literally people who use our services because we advertise that we also do crypto stuff. We have a lot of crypto clients from
Yeah,
Miami.
you know what? Yeah, I'm sure you. I am sure you attract the scammers
Oh my gosh.
who need a loan from a bank or something like that.
They're not scammers. They're actual people with actual blockchain projects around Miami, Orlando area. There's a lot of good projects.
Yeah, they're probably they're the typical pump and dump schemes, and they need to say, "Oh, this firm audited our stuff."
Yeah. Well, it's not Pulp Production. We audit their stuff. We audit their smart chain. Yes.
Yeah, you okay? You know what? I understand the grift. Okay, they hire you to pretend that they're involved in this shit so that they can attract the scammer clients.
Okay, I cannot dispute that. That is why they pay us money. But it is a real thing. The money they give us is real. It's a real business.
Yeah, okay, I agree. I agree. There's a lot of money in the crypto space because
Yeah.
of all the scams
It's not a
and
it's
people.
not a scam. We're not involved in the scam. We're just auditing their
Bro,
blockchain.
I look at some of the coins you suggested
Uh
to
huh.
me, and I'm like, they all look like scams.
Look at the market cap on those
I
coins.
still have yet.
Look at the billions of
What?
dollars that are in each of the things I recommended to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still just leaving my exposure in a little bit of BTC, right? That's it.
Oh my gosh.
But like I
Come
was a little
on,
bit greedy because
DeFi.
I wanted to get
DeFi is the future. Come on,
shit.
DeFi. Like that's how you know I'm young. I'm into this crypto stuff. Well, what old person is into this crypto stuff? No one. Because I'm young and hip and cool. Am I not wrong?
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god.
What? You don't understand it because you're too old.
Oh my god.
What? What? What old person owns crypto? I'm young. Crypto is the new age
I own
currency.
crypto. I do own crypto.
Yeah, but you don't understand it. Okay?
Yes, I don't like to get scammed. That is correct. I
Okay.
agree.
They're not scams. Okay?
Okay, have you had any clients who turned out to be pump and dumpers?
Yes.
More than one.
Yes.
Exactly.
What? I have a lot of clients. Statistically speaking, that's
Yeah, they just haven't yet to be the. They haven't yet to dump yet. Okay, they're
okay.
still in the
Not
dump
all of them
phase.
don't. Not all of them don't. There's only a few. Only a few. You know what?
What's your percent?
Okay, I'm not gonna give away more time. You can find out what firm I'm at if I give out the name of one of our clients. One of our clients is
Okay,
a
yeah, yeah, don't give me names. Obviously not. Don't dox yourself.
yeah.
But I'm sure
Some of them are
there's like
really big
right now a fifty
YouTubers.
percent hit rate pump and dump schemes that you're working for.
So some of them are really big YouTubers. One of them was very big like 12 years ago. He has like millions in crypto. He used us as well. Very big. See? Legit.
Yeah, there's lots of big YouTubers who have scammed people with pump and dump
Granted,
crypto coins.
he is a little sus right now, but I trust him. He moved to China. He's white. He did move to
All right.
China in the recent years since he started his crypto stuff. And I don't
All right, dude.
and he commissioned us cuz he's not planning to come back to the United States.
Yeah, great. Money laundry. I love it.
It's not money laundering. It's just we provide a service that we're doing. The service is legal. If he comes back to the
Right.
US and he did anything wrong, he would have to face consequences unless he decides to stay in China forever.
Right.
Why did he go to
Right,
China
right.
and want to stay there forever? I have no idea. Maybe he just likes the culture there. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Have you been to China?
No. Never.
Will you ever go?
No. Never. Why?
Right. It's actually not that bad, to be honest. But the pollution is really fucking terrible. I don't think you could survive because you would cough up blood in like the first moment.
My lungs are fine. It's not a lot of blood.
Yeah,
People overreacting.
like, the more I think about it, I'm like, you shouldn't go. Like, and you, like, even your 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 country of origin, I'm sure it's probably too polluting, right?
Oh yeah, Vietnam. Awful.
Yeah, there's no way, right? That's healthy
Yeah.
for you. I
Nah,
can't imagine.
I think I'll be perfectly fine. But yeah, it's business, and we have literally like hundreds of clients in dealing with crypto that we handle with. It's quite a
There's
big thing.
for everyone listening, there's hundreds of pump and dump schemes in the Miami area. I'm sure of it.
There's not.
Just haven't heard of most of them.
That is true. They haven't heard of most of them, but some of them use AI blockchains. Machi.
Even more scammy. It's just like I told you, I know your job is like, what's the next flavor of the month random bullshit keyword that I need to sell to my bosses so that we can attract scammers. That's fine.
I do not say that explicitly to my bosses,
Yeah, I'm not saying you say it, but this is how you sell it to your bosses.
and they all sign up on it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're like, I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about, but sure.
It does generate revenue for the firm. A lot of
You
revenue.
you don't deny that they're all like, what the fuck is this bullshit? But okay.
Okay, they do sort of do that. Every one of them. There's not a single partner, there's not a single person higher up than me that believes in crypto as much as I do. I can say that honestly. None of them understand it. None of them want anything to do with it. Anytime they see anything crypto, they're like, this is a liability.
Get me out.
This is a liability. I don't want to touch this. Players, you handle this. Players, you handle this. They pass everything crypto related. If they, as soon as they hear anything crypto, it's like fucking kryptonite to them, dude. They're like, I don't want to touch this, dude. I don't want this on me. I don't want this in my history. Don't put my name on this. They will never sign off on anything crypto related. They're like, yeah, players, I don't, I will not sign up on this.
You must be auditing some of them though, right? No, not you, but your firm, right?
Yeah, the people below me.
What, do they give a qualified opinion? They can't be, right?
We do.
Really?
My team, but not me.
What?
I have someone else on my team give a qualified opinion on it because I trust them to put their name on it. I do not put my name on these audits for reasons. This is true. I do not put my name on any of these. I do have a paper I published when I was doing my master's on thing. It has my name on it. The paper I published on blockchain and taxation is published at a certain university in Florida. But
You're so, I always thought that all the business and accounting papers are the biggest BS pieces of shit I've ever heard of or seen. Like, I look at it, I'm like, these guys are making up topics just to get their stupid master's or PhD.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a published paper. Blockchain in accounting.
Yeah, I'm sure when it gets peer reviewed, everyone is like, what the fuck is this shit even talking about?
It was not just me. It was me and four other people that did it. Come on.
Oh my god, it's so funny. You know what? I gotta give you props. You know, after 20 plus years in the industry, you really knew how to carve your niche out.
It's not 20 plus years. I'm very young. Maybe like 5 years in the industry. Maybe less.
Right, right,
Maybe
right,
less.
right.
Very young, mid
Anyways,
20s.
I like I'm more impressed with that than I'm stuck dealing with Sarbanes-Oxley.
Come on, go into the
You know,
cryptosphere. Come on. Try it. Try it once.
you're so funny.
Get a smart auditing license. And you can be like the one of.
You're so funny. I could probably sell like some AI bullshit to my bosses, and then make myself a position. But like, why would I?
What do you mean? This is needed. I got
You're
in.
so funny.
This is relatively recent. I got into this position during the COVID height.
That's not that recent. That's long enough.
Wait,
That's long enough.
no, that is recent. That was like a year ago, probably. I'm very young. I'm very young. That was very recent. That's like a couple months
Anyways,
ago
all
for
right.
sure. Couple months ago for sure.
That is so funny.
What do you mean?
Anyways, I'm gonna drop off.
Yeah.
Go do your video. I'll watch the stream.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Yep. See you later.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Back to the tier list review. So Ogier. What's the next? Wanda. Next is Wanda. I'm almost done with all of the units. Wanda. She's a D tier awaker in Arc 2. In Arc 1, she's still pretty decent. That's why she survives F tier. The reason why she's bad is because counter, or at least Wanda's counter, aged terribly under Arc 2 rule set. And she does not generate enough counter on her own. She requires someone to generate the counter for her. Because issue with Wanda is that she generates a flat amount of counter, which is this, like I covered earlier in the video 5 hours ago. So this scales off her attack stat. However, she does not have enough attack stat to make it worth it, and this can never fucking crit. This 4 cost can never fucking crit. Unlike Caucasus 2 cost, which does equal amount of damage, generate equal amount of counter, and a 50% tentacle damage bonus, like I covered when I was going over Caucus, this can't crit. It will always generate the same amount of counter that will only scale off of her attack value, generally speaking. So it's only hundreds of counter. As opposed to Caucus, when it can potentially generate thousands, and if you're very lucky with a good crit, tens of thousands of counter, depending on how much tentacle damage you have. Or to will copying Caucus cards, like I show in my Blue Will comps, that can hit 80,000 plus counter by turn 2 if you get a really good RNG roll going with the really good combos and the shattered and all that. So unlike those units, she cannot generate counter on her own and has to rely on someone else to generate counter. Now the traditional units to generate counter is Caucus or Daffodil. And Daffodil does temporary counter, which does work hard. There are videos of Daffodil and Wanda working hard in Arc 2, but it requires a lot of setup to work compared to other comps. She's not a really good unit overall in Arc 2. Arc 1, she's still S tier in Arc 1. Arc 1, I would say she's A or S tier in Arc 1 rule set. However, Arc 2, she's just frankly awful. Because right now, she also does damage based on how much counter you have. 20% of the counter you have. And under Arc 2 rules, which I showed 5 hours ago in the video, this counter bonus is reduced by 70%. This is a huge nerf on top of there being a max counter cap, which is easily reached on certain comps. such as my blue comp, is very easily reached. So you're not going to get the full value off her Spine Needle, for example. And also, all of her cards are very expensive for what they bring to the table. Like her 4 costs, it generates almost no counter. It reduces enemy strength by a decent amount. I will admit it is a decent amount now since they buffed her, but they only buffed the strength down effect. The strength down effect is what they do, but you're not really hurrying for a strength down effect if you're playing Wanda. You're hurrying for a way to build counter in general. But I do admit, I like her kit a lot. I like the concept of Wanda a lot. I really want them to buff Wanda and make her playable, because she's one of the more fun comps to play if you get her running. Because what she does, her Exalt does, is once you get 10 stacks of Dream Lure, and you get 1 stack per turn after you rouse her, and 1 stack when you leap her strike defenses, and more stacks if you have certain enlightenment levels. Once you get 10 stacks and you Exalt, you get to pick an option, which is exhaust 10 stacks of it, use up 10 stacks, and cause enemies to murmur, which reduces their damage by 65% and double the amount of attacks they deal. That means if a unit does 10 hits for you, for example, the highest thing, because there are some units in this game which hits you 10 times, they will now hit you 20 times while doing less damage than if they hit you 10 times. So they're going to proc your counter 20 times. This is a very fun thing to do. This is a gameplay I enjoy, but frankly, she is too fucking weak at the current state of the game, in the current Arc 2 rules. No matter how much they buff counter cap, no matter how much they buff counter, until they solve the issue of where is she going to generate counter on her own, and the value of her cards are being too expensive to play normally, and hogging up your tempo, your resources, the pace you play the game, you're going to still encounter a lot of issues if you want to play Wanda. That's not to say she's unplayable. In some waves, she might work with a counter comp, but it requires very specific waves, very specific bosses to make her work in Arc 2. And that is sort of a big hassle. So that's why she's D tier below average. She does perform below average in comparison to every other support awaker I've listed so far. Like, if you want to build a counter comp, you just use Blue Will. Just use the Caucus for the counter. Just use Daffodil, for example. If you're using Daffodil, you're generating a lot of temporary counter anyway. Do you really need Wanda and her multi-hit? Probably not. You probably only want it for the meme, for the actual screenshot, for the clip of the enemy dying to your 100,000 counter or whatever. But she isn't really needed in that comp. You don't have to build Daffodil that way. You can choose the other options with her Build a Bear 1000 Mirage card. So that's why she's extremely weak in Arc 2 rules. In Arc 1 rule set, if you're watching this, meaning chapters 1 through 9, she's still very strong in that. Just be prepared to drop her as a unit once you hit Arc 2. Just be prepared for that until they fix the core issues with her kit. Because all the enlightenments are very good, but in Arc 2, again, she just has aged terribly since the counter gutting. Now, the next unit, Agrippa. Agrippa is one I frequently glaze over and talk positively of. I want her to have a place in the game. Right now, there are very few places you would use an Agrippa, such as a caster team, such as a G-Doll Wave 3 meme team. But as a main team, there's almost always a better option than Agrippa, because she serves a role that is currently unfulfilled by Carol. What does this mean? She is a Poison Carol unit. What other Poison Carol units are there? None. Until there is a Poison Carol unit she synergizes with, you have to pair her up with another Realm Poison unit. And unfortunately now, most of the Poison teams in other realms mix well with blue units, such as Miriam, such as Blue 24. He's a Chaos unit. You mix them. They're the stronger poison comps at the moment. The only home she's really found is in the G-Dog comp because G-Dog comp uses Feint. And she does trigger poison. However, that is a very specific comp that only really works in D-type wave 3 when you go straight to boss. And relying on proccing a lot of DR, and even in that comp, she doesn't really provide much to the team. You can easily replace her with a Lily, for example, and that will do more than the poison trigger. Because, again, her kit is very decent. However, until there is another Carol poison unit, of which there are 0, she's going to be a more niche unit in comparison to the many options you have if you really want to build a poison team. If you're looking to build a poison team, she's not first on your list of units. She's not even 5th on your list of units you really want to include on your poison team. Only if you're very, very desperate or you're running out of units in the end game D-Tide mode, which I am, you would slot her in and she just sits there doing nothing generally. So she has a very good kit. Everything about her kit I like a lot. Reluctant arms, reducing cost, 10% trigger on strike defenses. This Embryo Fusion, overexalt. I think her kit is really well done. I really like this cost reduction. I really like Color Spiral. Moving from discard to hand. I really like doubling your Embryo Fusion. I like her kit a lot. But frankly, in the current state of the game, she doesn't really have a main team she fits in where you can justifiably say that yes, Agrippa is the best choice for this role. The only reason you put her in there because you're out of units or you really want to play her. You cannot honestly tell people that, yeah, Agrippa is essential to make this team work because that is a lie. And I realize that might hurt some Agrippa fans, of which there are probably 0. I enjoy Agrippa. I enjoy her kit. I enjoy her design. She's one of the better design units. However, until there's a Poison Carol unit, she's without a home. She's fucking homeless. She's an itty bitty spider who fell across the sink. That's basically what she's doing. She's in nursery rhymes right now. Instead of going off, fighting in real battle, she's a teacher in kindergarten. She's not even teaching the real soldiers anymore. She's like, you're going to war, everyone's been drafted, no one can find a role that she suits. You're fighting against the extinction of your nation, the extinction of the human race, for example. Everyone's been drafted to fight the great battle, but no one can find a spot where you can place Agrippa on the front lines that wouldn't make the front lines weaker. They can't even place her to teach the high school students because all the high school students are also drafted to go to war. All she's good for is teaching nursery rhymes to kindergartners right now. That's basically how she is in the current state of the game. Okay, next unit. Doll. Next unit, Doll, F tier. Again, when you start the game, she's going to be F tier. Monchi would agree with me that there are a lot of things wrong with Doll's kit. We went over it a few times, such as her equivalent strange being 3 cost. Her image heroic makes her a decent unit. This being a 3 cost, discard all for this amount of heal is too expensive in my book. I don't think it's worth the mana cost or arithmetic cost as the thing. This is one of the big flaws of her kit, and G-Doll is just a better version of her. And this Dispel Cell Phone could be useful from time to time. However, there are so few enemies that inflict bone on you that doesn't also inflict weakness or fragile. In that case, you just bring not. You just bring any other unit to the table and they'll perform better than Doll does. As a welfare unit, she's probably the weakest welfare unit in the game in comparison to Erica, in comparison to Arita, in comparison to Ogier, Ramona, Aegis. All those units, She's the weakest welfare unit in the game, unquestionably. Also, her stats are basically completely useless here. Like her stat value is very low, just like G-Doll. And her scaling doesn't make up for it. But that is a pro in her book when her cards are being copied by Twill. So what the developers do usually is when a Waker with low stat comes out, their kit, they compensate for it by having extremely high scaling values. 60% con, 40% con healing, etc. Extremely high scaling values in comparison, like 80% con, to other things. So what does that mean? How does that make Twill stronger? Twill has average stats. So Twill can pick up her cards and do more of it. You'll see Twill with OE heal for 300, maybe even 400 for with equivalent exchange compared to 64. You'll see Twill gank her of this card because she has a real con value and heal for a lot more than Doll ever would dream of. So that's a good thing she exists for Twill to copy and steal her cards. Like, again, everything about her is pretty bad overall. However, when you hit the Chaos Ring, when you get the Image Relic, she's actually a pretty decent unit. If they would just make the Image Relic a base thing in her kit, I would recommend her to more players. Because this equivalent exchange, if it was a 0 cost, which is what her Image Relic does, I would recommend running Doll on most of your D-Tie teams. Right now, I only ever run her if I'm out of units or if it's Chaos Ring. If it's Chaos Ring, I would almost always run her. Because this being a 0 cost means that you can play all the cards in your hand and then the equivalent exchange and discard all your cards in a free heal. This is a free heal at the end of turn. It's great. It's great with the Image Relic. This is great if it's a 0 cost. Hell, if it's even a 1 cost, I would recommend it to players. But the fact that it's a 3 cost that discards your entire hand, generally speaking, you're going to spend more than 3 mana. You're going to spend more than 2 mana a turn, get 5 mana a turn. You're going to spend more than that, generally, if you want to do something. When you have equivalent exchange in your hand, there's going to be very rarely situations where you want to spend the whole 3 mana on this card for the amount of healing it does. Rather than playing a defense card, rather than dealing more damage to boss, rather than strength scaling, rather than playing any other cards from your other Wakers, there's going to be hardly any situations where you want to play the equivalent exchange without her Image Relic. Now, the Outer Surgery is pretty decent. It's a 2 cost, 2 weakness. So that is pretty decent in comparison to other weakness cards. Because it's 2 turns, because G-Doll only has 1 turn of weakness. But she does have strength down. She has a better kit overall. But as weakness cards goes, this is a pretty good weakness card. But everything else about her kit, her rouse, everything, it's pretty bad overall. I cannot recommend her to put on your main team until they change what she does. Until they change this unit as a welfare, which I doubt they will. Because you don't spend pools to get this unit. This is just a welfare unit. And they won't make any money by really buffing Doll. That's just a fact of us playing a gacha game here. So let's go on to the next unit. Lei. Here we go. Why is Lei in F tier, but why is she used? So frankly, the reason why she is used is because if you're playing Carol and you like playing Carol, you're going to have a dearth of support units. You would take whatever God gives you. You are a dying man thirsting for supports and embryo gen. And that's what Lei provides you. Provides you relief in the desert. Lei provides you relief in the desert. She's not a good unit by any metric. She's one of the first units to be replaced on any team. She has the lowest base stats in the game at 72, 72, 72. If you level 90 fully invest in a Lei, her stats are 99, 99, 99, 99. She doesn't even break the 3-digit in stat values. By putting her in your team, you have a lower health value. It makes you nerf your team by putting her in. And her entire kit is extremely outdated. As I went over with Sorrel kit, this is just giving away your life for no gain. This is one of the earliest units. Her kit has aged badly. It's 20 temporary strength. That's basically 0. You want permanent strength. Most units give permanent strength nowadays. There are better options, such as Dies, the limited unit of this. She's been power creeped to hell and back. Could this lose 10% of your HP for only 28% Embryo Fusion? It's actually 30% Embryo Fusion if you fully maxed out the card to give her a fair shake, level 60. But let's look at Dies again. I went over Dies earlier in the video. So Dies, this does not take away your HP. This is just 40% Embryo Fusion. Normally, you just get this for free. Get this for fucking free. And it also applies 2 turns of weakness, 2 turns of bone, or gives you more Embryo Fusion. More Embryo Fusion. Lei, she takes her HP in her little hidey hole, and she does whatever the fuck she wants with it. She's a selfish awaker. That's all I'm saying. That's here for free. And this, guess what? Permanent strength gain. Alien Miss Battery. Insanely strong. And she gives you super babies, and you know about Dies kit. I went over Dies earlier in the video. I'm not going to go over her kit again. So, in comparison to that, Pain is a pretty bad card overall. The only benefit you can say about it is that it's a free card by costing 0 mana. However, it costs 10% of your current HP. And temporary strength for 30% Embryo Fusion, yeah, it's not enough to make it worth it compared to other units. Like, even Pikmin generates more Embryo Fusion than her. And Pain and Pleasure as a retain card is pretty bad overall. Because at the start of next turn, you get 1 shield for every 2 HP lost at the start of next turn. Generally, the problem with this card is because a lot of bosses, when you would live a big hit the next turn, they typically do a rest period. You're going to have the shield for a rest period. So times when you want to Pain and Pleasure to take into effect, the boss does an Omega God hit, for example, 10,000 damage. The devs usually give you a rest period turn afterwards, or maybe make the boss does little damage. So you're getting all this shield when you lose a lot of HP, this huge shield to protect against nothing most of the time, the way the bosses are designed in this game. Plus, as a 3 cost, it's too expensive to play. It's way too expensive to play. Her Enlightens really does nothing for her in general. I'm going to rewind her probably. It's a pretty bad unit for the Annie. She's one of the units I'm up for rewind. But one thing I would give credit to her is her Exalt. Her Exalt healing a good chunk of your lost HP is valuable. Like, this is a percent of your lost HP. So if your HP value is very high, this will heal for a lot if you devour. And it does dispel self-vulnerable. But the strength gain is too low for what it does. And her recent buff basically does nothing for her. I do not know what the devs were thinking. No one knows what the devs were thinking when they made this Soul Force aptitude. On a fully whaled out Lei, it's 2 strength a card. This is what the buff did for her. It's basically 2 strength a card. Every other unit generates strength more than her. Like, look. This is 32 strength. That is bigger than 2. I don't know if you guys know math. This is bigger than 2. I'm going to blow your fucking minds right now. This is 16 times bigger than 2. I just did quick maths. I know you guys are mind blown. Any one of you should be able to do this quick maths if you're a fucking nerd. If you're playing this game, you should be a fucking nerd. If you're not a nerd, I don't know why you're playing this game. I don't know why you are playing this game. So yeah. Lei has aged terribly. They need to do something about her base stat. They did need to do something about her kits, but I fear they're probably not going to, because she did get her Soul Force buff already. They're probably just going to make G Lei with the same stats with a better kit. That's what they've been doing. They're making G units or alternate versions of standard units, and they're making them better. So she's unlikely to get another buff in the short time period according to video. If she does get a buff, I will revisit her and re-review her. But right now, she's F tier. There are many units you want to put in rather than the Lei. So the next unit we're going to go over is the Tink. I value Tink very low because in most cases, you would want a better unit than Tink. Her stats are low, not as low as Lei. I do place her a little bit higher than Lei. But however, her effects take a lot to go into effect. Because everything, she works in the future. she doesn't work immediately. She works in the future. And that could be bad on most cases you're playing a game. And working in the future, her cards are too expensive for what they do, for how situational they are. There are more Awakers that do the same thing she does, fulfill the same role she does, but better and more consistent. Now let's go over her entire kit to explain what I mean. Let's look at her Requiem. Dispel self-fragile weakness and vulnerable state. You ignore the steel strength. You don't care about that. You don't care about steel strength. It's too low to matter. But you are generally using this for dispelling your weakness, fragile, and vuln. This is a 2 cost without retain, my dude. Most of the time when you have fragile, weakness, and vuln, there are cases where you don't draw this card. Without retain, this card is RNG whether or not you get this when you need it. You will probably not get this card when you need it due to drawing the deck. It's RNG. There are other units with less RNG situations for avoiding fragile weakness vuln. As I went over, there's a way better unit than her that fulfills the same role if you want to prevent fragile weakness vuln or remove it. You know who's that unit? I already went over it. The Knot. The Knot has this on his E3, prevents fragile weakness vuln, and is tied to his Exalt. So in this situation, rather than relying on a card to come to your hand and praying to your fucking dear god, you just hold on his Exalt. You see the boss is going to give you fragile weakness or vuln, you Exalt. You're now immune to it. His Exalt, you're always going to have it prepared. You don't have to rely on drawing a card. Same with other units. Let's say, and not every boss apply all 3 effects at the same time. This is only in the situation where a boss applies all 3 effects at the same time, and very few bosses do that, such as Chapter 9 Final Boss. Now, on bosses where it only applies, let's say, a fragile, a weakness, a vulnerable, there are also better Awakers for it. She's too niche of a unit, and even in her niche, there's a better option in the Nautilus. Let's say a boss only applies fragile to you. Why not bring the Ogier? He also dispels fragile on his Exalt, and he gives you vuln, he gives you strength, he gives you shields, he provides more value to your team, and his stats are higher, which means he gives you more HP for your teams, more defense for your teams, and he's a welfare unit. Now let's say a boss applies vuln to you, for example. There are units that does what she does, but better. Let's go over the Pharaohs, for example. I think I skipped over Pharaohs. The Pharaohs would be basically D tier, maybe C tier. So Pharaohs, let's say a boss gives you vuln. Her Exalt dispels vuln. Also lets you draw 3 cards from your draw pile and add to your hand. So you always have the Exalt up. You see what I'm getting at? Rather than relying on RNG 2 cost mana card to dispel your stuff, if most bosses do not apply all 3. Bosses that only apply 1, you want a tailor-made team to fight that boss. So those tailor-made teams, there are better options. This is an Exalt tide. You don't have to rely on drawing the card to get rid of your debuffs. Like, again, if you want a fragile, this and Sangha is a pretty good unit. Dispel fragile. Again, every scenario where you would want to use Tink to dispel debuffs, there's a better choice that you could have picked for that boss. That's why I rate her F tier, because this is too RNG. Now look at her Distant Melody. What it does is it buffs your team for next turn. Some people have had success running this with Cap. However, this is also RNG. You know why? On most teams, because you have to draw Distant Melody. You play it, and you get the buff the turn after. Can you guarantee that your burst turn will be the turn after? Most cases, you cannot. In most cases, the turn after is not set, even if you play Cap. You do not know what cards you're going to draw. You're not going to know where the MS stacks are going to land. You know what damage, what cards you have this turn. In the current turn you're currently in, you know what damage cards you have in hand. You know how much damage you can do. The next turn, you don't know how much damage you can do. You could draw into shit cards. You don't know, and it costs 3 mana. Costs 3 mana for this buff. And there are better units that does what this does, but better. You saw the Daffodil buffing your team's crit rate permanently without relying on cards. Better crit rate buffer than Tinkt. You saw the Riker crit rate, crit damage on his dice. Permanent. Doesn't rely on playing a 3-cost card the entire turn. Permanent in the entire thing. You saw me go over to Riker. That's another situation. A better unit than her. Now, other units, same thing. Let's go over to Jenkins. She gives 145% crit damage when she exals. You can control that. You don't have to rely on playing a card because of her exile and her rouse. You can control when that triggers. You can control when that happens. When you're playing Tink, you don't have control of what cards you have during the burst turn. You don't have control over your destiny. Okay? She steals away your destiny. That's why she's a bad unit in my estimation. She has aged terribly. Now, the only thing that's guaranteed is her exile. Temp crit rate, temp damage. But it's only 17%. You want her distant melody. And even in this, you have better options. You have Riker with his draw and strength gain. You have Jenkins, as I said before, with his crit damage. A lot higher value. You have Daffodil for the strength gain. You have so many units that can fulfill the role of buffing your DPS, but better than Tink, without relying on conditionals, without relying on power foresight. That said, if you can see into the future, she'd be a good unit. But if you can see into the future, then why the fuck are you watching this video? And if you can see in the future and you're a Tink man, tell me what the next lottery numbers are, you motherfucker. Give me the lottery numbers, okay? I make this content for you. I spent over 20 hours on this video, probably. So, give me the lottery numbers for the next lottery, you motherfucker. Okay, if you're seeing the future, rather than wasting your time playing this dog shit characters, give me the fucking lottery numbers right now, you fucking foresight, you fortune teller. Fucking piece of shit, not giving me the lottery numbers. Every second you don't give me a lottery number, it's on you. Give me the lottery numbers. Give me the lottery numbers right now. You can see into the future. I'm recording this video right now. If you can truly see into the future, you should already be DMing me the lottery numbers for the lottery right now while I'm recording this video. By the time this video is released and you're watching this video, it's already too late. It's already too late. Send me the lottery numbers right now while I'm talking during the video. Send me the lottery numbers in my Discord right now. I'm seeing no lottery numbers being sent in my Discord. So that means none of you motherfuckers can see into the future. That's why she's dog shit. Otherwise, I will have the lottery numbers right now. No one is sending me the lottery numbers right now. My Discord is empty. Give me the fucking lottery numbers, people who see into the future, where it's the only place she's good at. So yeah, that is the pure problem with Tink. None of you guys can see into the fucking future, okay? And those that are lying. Because no lottery numbers right now while I'm recording this video. No lottery numbers right now. Still no lottery numbers. So yeah, that's why she's a pretty terrible unit in general. So, people, I would go over Clem. She's a dog shit unit, but I'll make this video calm. A lot of people say I need to control my anger, control my temper over this very bad unit who does nothing for the team, who tries to do everything, but her role is easily outclassed by almost every other unit in the game. She heals more. You the finale stack. She has no weakness. She has no vuln. All she has is her stupid psychic trauma, and I don't believe in therapy. You know why I don't believe in therapy? They're all scammers. Your therapist doesn't love you. If you rely on therapy to get through life, know that you get better advice from your local homeless person, okay? You get better life than your local homeless person. As I went over in many of my Clem videos, your local homeless person knows about the real world than your average therapist. They've been places. What does your therapist know? Sitting in their cozy little office all day. Their cozy little office, not venturing outside, experiencing the city sights. Let's say, for example, your car gets broken in and someone leaves used condoms all over your car. Your therapist will have no idea on what to do with that. when you confront them with the story. Your therapist will have no fucking clue on what to do. All they'll respond with is, "Oh my gosh, that is awful. I'm so sorry for you." You know what? Homeless Steve will do? You know what homeless Bob will do? Homeless Steve, if you're nice to him, if you give him $5, he's in the parking lot all day outside your workplace. He'll give you the name and addresses of whoever broke the window in your car and left used condoms in your front seat. Okay? He gives you results right there and then because he knows things. He knows things. He probably knows more than your therapist. He knows way more than your average therapist. He's been around the city. He knows all the good spots. He knows what to do, and he's a good friend. And he doesn't charge hundreds of dollars an hour for you to talk to him. And he will do something about it. If you go to your therapist and you say, "I found out who did it. It was Dirty Mike and the boys." Your therapist will be like, "Okay, you want to talk about it?" You know what homeless Bob and homeless Steve would do? You give them $20. They're gonna find whoever did it and burn the house down for $20 fucking. That is the value your average homeless person would give you over your fucking therapist. Would your therapist do that for you? No, because they have professional fucking standards. They have things. They don't really care about you. They just want your money. Would they do it for $20? Hell no! Homeless Bob would do it. Homeless Bob would do it for $20 and a cheeseburger. He will burn down whoever's house broke into your car. He will track them down. Maybe even for $100. He might even stab them for you. Problem solved. No evidence. Would your therapist do that for $100? No. It costs $100 an hour per session just to talk to her. Okay? Homeless Bob, homeless Steve will talk to you for free. They have nothing better to do. Your therapist has obligations. Have a home. Have an apartment. Have a family. Homeless Bob, homeless Steve doesn't have these distractions. They're only focused on you. They care about you, for example. They don't need to pay their rent. They don't have a home. They don't have to pay a mortgage. They don't have one. Your fucking therapist has all these other obligations that isn't related to you. And that's what Clem is. A fucking terrible therapist. All therapists are terrible people who want your money. Therapy isn't real. You'd have the same sense of relief if you talk to your local homeless person. Fun fact, I do actually talk to homeless people. I do this for fun. I befriend homeless people if I see them on the way to work. I'm actually good friends with a homeless. This is actually a true story. I talk about him every time I bring out therapists. I do actually practice what I preach. There's this homeless guy who hangs around the parking garage of my firm. I've been talking to him for years, every now and then. He does have a couple of issues. He is a little out there. He does give good advice. He is very friendly. He does listen to me when I talk, and I listen to him ramble. What does he ramble about? Stuff I cannot say on stream. I'll let you know he is not racist. He is not transphobic. He's not homophobic. He just hates women. This is true. He just hates women, and that's why he's homeless. He hates women with a passion, and that's what he rants about. He calls them a lot of names. But I talk to him. We have an understanding. Anything that happens, I need someone to talk to. I'll meet him at work and say, "Hey, sup?" I'm not going to give away his name because he's a pretty famous or infamous homeless person in the city he resides at. He's pretty famous because he would go to these college campuses and shit talk women. And on the college campus Reddit, there are a lot of clips of him. So he's a pretty famous homeless person. In Florida, at least. I don't only talk to him, I talk to a lot of folks, but I've known him the most. because he's nearby when I need someone to talk to. He's a great person if you're a dude. Now, if you're a female listener listening to the stream, do not approach him. If you see this particular homeless person, do not approach him. Do not talk to him. You will get yelled at. You will get called despicable names. You will not have a good time. You will not have a good time talking to this particular homeless person. If you're a dude and you're fine with what he says, he is quite friendly. If you ignore his rants. So this is where I perfect my rants. Most of my rants are taken from him. Basically, I just shift around a few things. I basically try to emulate his energy. I don't really come that close to him. But he's a pretty chill dude. He's very funny. He's very funny with his rants. I don't think he intends to be funny, but I find him funny. I have a dark sense of humor. I'm sorry, I have a very dark sense of humor. I'll listen to Tim Dillon. I'm a big Tim Dillon fan. I'm also a big local homeless crazy person fan. I do not like talking to homeless people that are normal homeless people. If you're a homeless person that is just sane and you're just homeless because you got laid off from your job, you're a boring individual. If you're homeless because you're crazy, you're an interesting person to talk to. I want to talk to you. I want to interact with you. A lot of my IRL friends say it's crazy how I haven't been stabbed yet. But I think the homeless stigma needs to stop. Not every crazy homeless person wants to stab you. I have a feeling it's because you aren't being friendly enough to them. I haven't been stabbed yet. So I think I am right. Now, when I get stabbed, I will come back and make a YouTube video about it from the hospital bed, saying you shouldn't approach crazy homeless people. But until then, whenever I see a crazy homeless person, I approach them. I try to get their life story, because this is entertaining to me. Okay? This is entertaining to me while I'm going on this work travel trip. What am I talking about? Yeah, Clem, dog shit. Therapist, dog shit. You can get the same relief, the same talking partner for free from a local homeless person. And, in fact, you feel even better. These people have no one to talk to. Therapists, like fucking dogshit Tim, has someone to talk to every day. That is their job. These crazy homeless people, for example, people avoid them. They're lonely. So you're doing a good thing by talking to them, by treating them like a human being, like I am. Okay? You're treating them like a human being. You're providing them what they lack. Human companionship. Be their friend. Get close on them. You can hear some wild life stories. You can hear some wild things from these crazy homeless people. Now, if they're normal homeless people, they're going to have a boring sob story. You're going to be like, oh, I can't feed my family. I can't feed my kids. I got laid off from my job. I'm going to lose my homeless. No. Those guys are boring. You want to go to the raving mad homeless people who are yelling at the top of their lungs, tweaking out. That's who you want to talk to. Those are who are entertaining. Because how do they get to that state? They probably have a wild life story that you would probably want to hear. People who are normal, they have a sad story that will just bring you down. I guarantee you, every crazy, quote unquote, homeless person you will ever interact with in your life will have a story that you can tell to other people like I'm telling now. Like I'm entertaining you guys now because of my experience with my homeless person. If you befriend your own crazy homeless person, you can also have an entertaining story to share with your friends and family. It could be a nice icebreaker. If you're meeting a new client, if you're talking to people at work, it could be a nice icebreaker when you're talking to new people. Like, oh, I'm friends with this crazy homeless person. Guess what he did? Guess how he became a crazy homeless person? He maybe shit on his desk at work. Maybe has a mental break one day. Maybe he believes aliens are real. Or whatever. That's an entertaining story. If you're going with a regular fucking ass homeless person, you're going to talk about regular things everyone already heard about. A boring, monotonous story. Oh, Google laid me off because they overhired. Now I'm homeless because I spent too much money on X. My lifestyle is inflated. Sad. Crazy homeless person. I'm homeless because one day I decided my home was the site of an alien invasion, so I burned my house down. That's entertaining. That's a good story. That's a good story about how one person became homeless. He burned his house down to stop an alien invasion. That's good. That's great. That's a good icebreaker. Maybe you're talking to another homeless person. Say, oh, I'm homeless because I do drugs every day. I was a high stakes things and now my brain is broken from all the drugs I do. They can talk to you about the visions and the sights they see every day. And maybe if you're a writer, if you're a creative type person, you can use this person's ideas and crazy hallucinations for your own story. Because how else are you going to get content, okay, than the people who are mind broken IRL? These are good things to do. Would your therapist provide you any interesting writing material? No. That's what your homeless person is for. They know all the happenings of the city. They interact with other crazy homeless people. They have a crazy homeless network, probably. In Florida they do. In Florida, I live in Florida. Florida, this is very common. Any homeless person you talk to knows like 10 other homeless people around you. And they all have their own tight-knit community here in Florida that can span across cities. Somehow, all the those like minority communities, like Vietnamese, Chinese, Cuban communities, the homeless have their own communities as well. This is the thing about homeless people. Ever worked in a soup kitchen? They have their own community, they have their own like tent cities. They're friends with each other. Okay? And most of them are harmless, especially if you're nice to them. Give them a snack, give them something. Just gotta figure out what their trigger is. Not all of them are harmless to everyone. Just gotta figure out who are the dangerous homeless people and which are the safe ones. And you very easily figure that out if you just watch them. So before I approach my homeless person, my homeless friend, I watched him for a couple of months. I never saw that he stabbed anyone. Then I started talking to him on the way to work, on the way home as well. Started talking to him every now and then over a course of years. Now, every time I go out to eat and I'm going back to work, or whether I eat and then go to work, I give him a little bit of my leftovers. He appreciates it. We're friends. I never give him money because you don't give homeless people your money. They're going to rob you blind. I don't give him a single dollar. I give him food. I give him leftovers. Okay. This is what you got to do to interact with these people. So, this homeless person, you can use for whatever you want for cheap. You can use them as a contractor. You can use them for manual labor. Let's say you're working at an accounting firm, for example, and maybe you need like a package of paper to move from one place to another. Rather than ask one of your interns to do it, just talk to your homeless friend and they'll do it for you. Manual labor. You don't have to ask the interns for shit. Maybe, for example, you're like a private investigator or maybe an accountant. Maybe you want to audit a company. I don't audit, but I've suggested this to the actual auditors at my firm. They just say I'm crazy. I think they're the crazy ones for not doing this. So if you're an auditor, my idea is if you're auditing a company, instead of going there and auditing, you befriend a homeless person, okay? Because no one really looks at a homeless person twice. And you have the homeless person go into their workplace and spy and do whatever you need to do to audit that company and distract them. And no one would believe that you hired a homeless person to do this. And homeless person, if you give them enough food, if you're friends with them enough, will not rat you out. Most of them are pretty honorable people, unlike therapists. A therapist will probably rat you out. If you did something wrong, a therapist will rat you out to the authorities. Your homeless friend probably wouldn't. And even if they did, who is gonna believe them? The police is not gonna believe them. So it's a foolproof plan in my estimation. I think this is a brilliant idea. And I'm surprised more accountants, more auditors do not use homeless people in their job field. Maybe even private investigators. Just hire local homeless people. They want the money. They need the money for drugs, booze, food, whatever they're into. And you're helping another person out. Because you don't judge them for spending money on food. You don't judge them for spending money on booze or drugs. That's what most people would do if they're having fun. Granted, it probably destroyed their life, and you're probably feeding an initial. It's not slavery. On the live stream right now, someone's saying, wouldn't that be slavery? No, 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 no. They're doing it consensually. They're your friend because they have freedom. So you feel no guilt because they have the most free will possible. If anything, the people you hire, that's slavery. They need to work to pay their mortgage, to pay their rent, to pay all that. The homeless person is free. They can eat out dumpsters if they want. They have free will. They have the most free will as possible. They can go wherever they want. They can hang out wherever they want all day. They have no professional responsibilities. So they're doing it out of the kindness of their own heart and probably for the drugs, which is also out of the kindness of their own heart. It's what they want. So my advice is, rather than go to a therapist, befriend a local homeless person. You get nice labor. I use my homeless person. Never mind. I don't do it anymore. I only did it once because he didn't do a really good job at it. I once tried to get a homeless person to mow my lawn at one of my apartments in a certain area. They did not do a good job. I'll tell you that, they did not do a good job mowing the lawn. So you would not really ask them to mow your lawn. I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a pretty terrible job. I'd rather hire someone real for that. It was cheap though. But again, for other stuff, you would hire them for. For other stuff that they can probably do, like, watch someone. Watch someone for you. Probably not babysit now I think about it. I wouldn't trust them to babysit my niece. Yeah, but as I was saying, Clem, garbage ass unit. Will Clem do all that for you without a fee? No. She's a therapist. She's probably a licensed therapist. She probably wouldn't even stab someone for you for $100. Your homeless person probably would for $100. They'd probably do it for less. Some of them, if they're crazy enough, will probably do it for free. Problem solved. Problem solved right there. She does nothing. Therapists do nothing. I do not believe in therapy. Dog shit unit. Okay. I think that is most of it. And let me add in the rest of my thing. Okay, time to edit all these clips. Excuse me, guys. Mm, I should. I was thinking about doing this. I want to collab with my homeless person, but I'm afraid I might get demonetized if he says something. Because I'm thinking of doing a collab with my homeless friend and having him rate the Awakers. I'm thinking about showing him the designs and maybe filming it. Maybe just his voice out in the open. I just grab my phone and record his audio and just show him I'm gonna print out pictures of the Awakers and just show him it and see his reaction to all of the Awakers. I think that'd be good content. I suggested it before in Discord, but everyone thought it was a terrible idea. I think it'll be a good idea for the content. What do you guys think? I might actually do it. Should I do it? Is it a terrible idea? Everyone says it's a terrible idea. I don't understand. So, homeless friend, great wakers. Don't do it. Everyone always says on Discord this is a terrible idea. I might make this a video. I think this is content. Aurora says like normal people would like say like no, that's like abuse, and you get canceled because you're abusing a homeless person and you're using a homeless person for entertainment. But I've known him for like years. But I've known him for like literal years. So I don't think it will be really using a homeless person, right? I mean, it is using a homeless person for content. Yeah, everyone always votes don't do it. I don't understand. Everyone always votes for don't do it, flares. That's homeless abuse. Dude, I've known this homeless person for literal years. I don't think it's abuse. I'll probably like give him like $5 or something. He'll probably do it for like free. I just probably give him some leftovers and then just show him pictures of the wakers. Like, what's your reactions here? I probably would have to censor what he says because he does use a lot of slurs. But I think it'll be good content to see what a homeless person reaction on these awakers are. I think it's a good idea. I don't know why everyone thinks it's a bad idea. I don't know why everyone thinks it's a bad idea. But let's go. Mm, okay, where's the clip here? But yeah, boom. I do not think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. Everyone always, whenever I do this, I was like, players, this is the worst idea you ever had. But they never give me a clear, concrete reason why. I don't understand what's bad at it. It's not like he is a random homeless person. It's a homeless person I know for years. I don't know how many years. It's been a long time since I've known him. He's like very frequent outside of the parking garage there. Yeah, he sets up a little camp there, and then he. I actually, now that I think about it, I never actually asked how, because I never saw him really beg for anything. He's just sort of just there, just shouting and stuff. He's just there. I never see him panhandle or anything, so I don't know. Besides me giving him food, I do not know how he's getting fed and stuff. Never came up actually. I should probably now that I'm thinking about it, just doing this, why is it a bad idea? Where does he get his food from? Probably ask him now on Monday when I see him again. He's probably gonna be there on Monday again. Sometimes he doesn't show up. He like disappears and appears wherever, but he always comes back within a couple of weeks. Unfortunate. 6 hours. Okay, it's 6 hours long. It's a bit shorter than I thought. Do I don't think it's bothering them. Why is late an F tier? Yeah, where is 24 in my video? I need to move the 24 clip launch sheet I made. This 24? Nope. I think it's S tier somewhere. I think it's near the beginning of the video. There it is. Okay. Go towards the end. Audio. Just editing the video real quick. It's not really editing, it's just resizing everything and isolating my audio with AI. Maker, Tulu, thing. There we go. Now wait for all that to process. Good work today. Mm. Ah. What has processing? Let me. Uh, Resting in my vocal cords at the moment. I hate doing this every day. It should be an auto thing. I'm gonna start removing. I need to start removing friends every time. These are all good units. I keep this guy because of this profile. Do have a coaching stream in a couple of hours. Should get some shut eye before then. That would be ideal, but I need to finish eating my food. Haven't slept in like a long time. Don't know when is the last slept. But I'm waiting until this video is done. I need someone to share on Reddit and remind me and remind that there's a coaching session today. Yeah. Try to add people back. Do how long until this thing is done? Done. Waiting. Probably a long time. Yep. It'll take a while. You know, all those videos doing stuff. Make timestamp. I'm not gonna make timestamps like that. Do. Do. Is the video done yet? Nope. Again, it's gonna take probably an hour for me to do everything and upload it. Probably two. That's annoying. What should I watch now? Need to watch something while I eat. I'll watch a YouTube video streaming. I think it's easy on dailies are up. I gotta eat. Can't focus on that. I'm so tired. A coach session later. Cyberpunk Edge Runner official trailer. I don't even want to watch. Maybe Lords of Mystery. What should I title the video, do you think? Mormon's Tier List 2025 edition? What's the most clickbait title that people will click on? Anyone have any good suggestions? Feel free to type it in the comments. Because I already did the hard, well, the multi-hour part, but I don't know how to make a clickbait title. I do have the thumbnail ready already. I already have someone made thumbnail already. I just need the title. If anyone can come up with a good title for the video. Oh, everyone in ZZN is memeing about not having the resources to upgrade a combatant. All the stamina. Nice, use it. Do I buy this, but I'm gonna hoard. Need more these. This. People are realizing the resources in CCN are dog shit. Rose scripts. I hoard. I hoard these resources, dude. I don't use them for anything. I don't know how people go bankrupt on these. Get so many. Just don't buy everything. Well, now let me look at the translated Yuki. So it's 20% is what I'm getting right now. The Yuki links. That card 20%, but that card. That card. Yeah, it wasn't that strong. Oh, I was talking for the past 20 plus hours. Sorry if I am disappointing you on stream. I am resting my vocal cords for the vocal lessons. I've been talking nonstop for a while, so I'm just taking a small break from using my vocal cords because I am editing the video right now, or I think the video is done. So full tier list. I've been yelling and ranting and everything. It takes a lot out of me. 21 gigabytes. Sorry for that. Can't entertain the entire time. I have a vocal cord limit. My body is not invincible. Oh my god. Well, take to render. Long time apparently. I'm just gonna post the video. And I want one of you guys to share it on Reddit and remind them that there's a coaching when it's done uploading. Kind of take a while though. I'll keep the stream going for as long as possible, but I think I can watch YouTube videos while I'm doing this. I'm gonna watch a YouTube video with you guys. This is React content now. Let's watch a YouTube video together. I like watching documentaries or Tim Dillon rants. I ranted today, so let's watch a documentary. I like DW documentaries for finance. I love watching finance documentaries. Let me find a good one. Eh. Butchering scam junk sugar items. I don't like that. I like watching fucking scam crypto documentaries. I love them. I love all the scam documentaries and finance documentaries. Oh, wait. Okay, this is a good one. I've been watching this. Haven't finished it yet. Let's put it up. Oh, not that. Not that. I'm gonna find the right window here. Hold up. Let me just do this real quick. I have several windows and tabs, so it's this window. Crypto's doing pretty good.
Brought him upstairs to a high-limit room on the 23rd floor. It was a private suite. They beat him for, let's just say, $25 million. And then when that player came back to the casino and say, listen, I lost $25 million on your private VIP suite on the 23rd floor, the casino said, we don't have a private suite on the 23rd floor. These cheaters or these scamsters took a private suite, took all the furniture out of the suite and pushed it into a bedroom and set up a mock casino. They had phony surveillance cameras, they had phony supervisors with suits and badges, they had cocktail waitresses, and then they beat them. Now, I do happen to know the surveillance VP at the time, and I said, is there any surveillance footage? And he said to me, Sal, what footage? All we have is people walking into the room. We know who they are and what they look like, but there's nothing of the actual play because it's a hotel room. That's Ocean's 11. Yank in Australia wants to know, marked cards, how often do you find them? Marked cards have been behind some of the biggest scams in the casino industry. A simple way of marking cards, they sell these pastes. It goes on the finger. They're professionals. They'll keep it right on the table, and they'll just mark the cards like this. How? This little tin is concealed inside the chips. So as you're playing, as you're dealing, I'm playing with my chips. Now right here, I just got it on my hand. I want to mark these two cards, right? I don't know what they are. So when I come over, I see it's a 4 and a 6. I'm hitting the 6 right here. Now I spin them, and I'm hitting the 6 again. Now I transfer the cards, and now I'm hitting it dead center. Now, I'll be honest, if your eye is not trained to see that, good luck. I don't care how you mix these cards up. When these cards are on the table, from right here, I can't miss it. There's your 4 and there's your 6. A real simple and effective way of marking cards, a real fine emery board where you can actually sand off some of the back. Let's suppose I want to get these aces. I could take these cards, file them down in the middle, and by filing down in the middle, what you're going to do is you're going to make these aces look like an hourglass. You can't see it, but they're shaped like an hourglass. So what's the big deal? So in theory, when I shuffle this deck right now, when I grab them in the middle, I'm coming in contact with every card except an ace. So now I should be able to pull those aces right out. These are called in strippers. Why in? Because the center is cut in. And believe me, there are a lot more ways of marking cards than what I just explained. Shuffleopagus wants to know, no way they have special cards like Austin Powers in real life. Now, these cards are marked from the back. Can I see it? No, I can't. However, I take these glasses off, I put these glasses on, and now it's a different ball game. A blind person could see this. That's a 3. There's your ace. There's your jack, and so on. And these can be read at great distances from across the table. The glasses are only for demonstration purposes. In real life, you buy the contacts, and then no one knows you have contacts on, and you can read these marks across the table. Civil aside, 359. How casinos prevent people from stealing or mass producing chips? Well, this is money. So if you could counterfeit this the way you can counterfeit money, you're actually counterfeiting money. So the way casinos stop you from doing this is they put RFID into these chips. Now, when I was in Macau one time, I actually went to mainland China, and there was a place that actually made chips. He says, if you bring me any chip, I can make it. I asked the shaman, how do you get them back to me? Not that I'm gonna do this, but I was curious for information, because this is what I do. I train, I wanna know. He said poker sets. If customs was to open it up, the first chip will say World Poker Tour, but every chip after that will match the casino that you gave him. People collect chips. They'll go in, buy a chip, and take it home. Nobody's taking home $500 chips just for collection. Now, another way casinos catch this is by inventory. The casinos know exactly how many chips they have. And on a monthly inventory, if they realize they're over, they know they have counterfeit chips. Lady Lala, 22. How did the MIT blackjack team ever make so much bank when card counting only gives you a 1% edge according to Wikipedia? In this business, people lie. Math doesn't. If you have a small edge over the house dispersed over a long period of time, you're gonna make the money. And with the big bankroll, you could do that. And with a lot of players, you could do that. Back in the early 90s, the MIT team, students formed a team to beat the casinos using card counting. They definitely became popular later on with the movie 21, the book Bringing Down the House. A team is a group of people, very skilled at blackjack, that will go into the casino, count, and as soon as the cards favor them, put the big money in. You would have, for example, 20 blackjack tables. You put 20 players on each table. So you have one counter on each table betting very little. But as soon as those cards favor you, then you call in another team member called the BP, which means the big player. He's the person that's going to be betting the big chips. So as soon as those cards become favorable to the team, they will call that team member in. They do not want the casinos to know that they're working together. Next question by Brandon White. Super random, but this drunk guy at the casino asked if I was using a thumper. What is that? It's an electronic signaling device used for players to communicate to each other. It's called a thumper because it's vibrating. When they push down on the transmitter, the receiver vibrates or thumps you with Morse code telling you what to do. So I might give you a signal to come over to the table. In poker, I might give you a signal to raise me. I might give you a signal to fold. A great example of a thumper being used is in the movie Casino, where one player was signaling information to another player sitting at another table. Usually a thumper could be on the thigh, and then you just push down on the button with your hand in your pocket, but it could be anywhere, as long as it's concealed. I Like Corn wants to know, question for the blackjack market. Does anyone know where I could find a perfect strategy computer? I'm looking to hit the house or maybe a few. They're not as easy to get as they used to be because they're highly illegal in a lot of jurisdictions. In some jurisdictions, they're not. However, in Vegas, if you get caught with one of these, you can be prosecuted. Now, what is a perfect strategy computer? It's a computer that keeps track of every card being dealt. So it knows how many 10s are left, how many aces are left, how many 3s are left, and can play blackjack better than any brain. Now, a perfect strategy computer is normally worn in the shoe, where there are 4 toe switches, one above the left toes, one below the left toes, one above the right toes, one below the right toes. And they're assigned numbers, 1, 2, 4, and 8. So when the dealer deals a 6, you hit the 2 and the 4 key. If it's a 9, you hit 1, 8. So the computer is actually knowing every card that was dealt, and it signals to you how to play the hand by a small vibrating device, normally worn on the heel of the shoe. The signaling normally is a small set of long and short vibrations. For example, 2 short vibrations might mean stand. 1 long vibration might mean hit.
There's nothing like traveling in style with the largest global airport lounge network.
I find these scam videos about,
There's
you know,
nothing like
scams
that.
interesting.
Product 2000 runway.
eBay 2020.
I love these videos.
Guaranteed authentic. Let me guess.
This guy's a professional casino anti-cheat guy, so I like him.
Authenticity guarantee.
Hit. That might mean double down. Scrammer, 00. Why is card counting illegal? They don't throw you off jeopardy for remembering things well. Card counting is not illegal. You cannot get arrested. You cannot get detained for card counting, providing you're not using a device. But to use your brain, it is not illegal. When you count cards, you have the edge. And the casinos don't want you to have the edge. They want to keep the edge. In some casinos, they are not allowed to kick you out for card counting, but they are allowed to back you off blackjack and actually say to you, your skill is too good for us. You're allowed to play any other game in the casino floor, but you're not allowed to play blackjack. Amazing username. What are some clear signs that people are working together at the poker table? This is gonna be very hard to detect. The reason being is when a person folds, you don't see what they have. Let's suppose we're playing poker right now. I look at my hand, I have a pair of kings. What does this person have? I have no idea. But my partner says, Sal, I got a pair of 10s. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna signal to her, get out. I'm gonna tell her just like that. So she's gonna fold. She's folding a pair of 10s. She would never fold these. Why is she folding 10s? Because I'm telling her, I got a pair of kings. If this player wins with a pair of aces, did he just get cheated? Absolutely he got cheated. He should have won her money. But the only problem is when this person folds, you don't get to see what they have. It goes right into the muck. There are many ways of signaling. You can do hand signals. Here, that's 1 pair. That's 2 pair. That's 3 of a kind. That's a straight. 2 fingers on top is a flush. If I'm using chips, right there, that's an ace-king. That's an ace-king suited. Ace-queen suited. Ace-jack suited. If I go inside, that's a pair of aces, pair of kings, pair of queens. If I go like this, I just told her right now I have a low pair. That's a medium pair. That's a high pair. There are a lot of ways players could work together. One way you could possibly help yourself to give yourself a better edge is simply pay attention. When you see people getting dealt, look at their eyes. If they're looking at other players' cards before I look at the hand, it's possible they're looking for signals. Poker is a social game. Players talking to each other. No one's paying attention to the cards. Next question. What's the wildest example of cheating you uncovered in all your years in casino security? One of the wildest examples of scams that I've ever
I don't
heard
think
of
you can
is
send
something that
spreadsheet
happened in
link.
Atlantic City. They did a cooler. A cooler is a
My,
pre-arranged deck of cards.
My
that
spreadsheet
give
is linked on every video related to the game I make the spreadsheet of. So just go onto any Mormon video I have and look in the descriptions, and you'll find
Switch
my
in.
link.
What happened was in Atlantic City, they needed everybody to be distracted, or as the cheaters call it, the turn. Because everyone is turned away from where the move is happening. And this one person stands up at a blackjack table and yells, "I think I could fly." And he rips open his shirt, and there's a Superman t-shirt. So everybody right now is looking at this nut, but no one saw 6 decks of cards being switched in on the table next to him. At Japan Pulse, I wonder how many gamblers are able to successfully beat the system at casinos. Well, there are many, and usually they all get caught because the casinos have books full of them. So when you walk into a casino and they recognize you're in the book, they know you are one of the ones that could beat the system, and they back you out. They ask you to leave, and you're not allowed to play anymore. The records the casinos keep on players, in the old days, they were actually binders called the Griffin. Casinos actually subscribe to it and receive binders. Today, it's a digital database. For example, Biometrica. When you get put into that system, all the casinos that subscribe has access to the database. So once you're put into that database, all the casinos could bring it up, and with facial recognition, could see if you're in that system. Natatha, 855. What's the biggest scam or threat that casino surveillance should be looking out for this year? The biggest scams that are going on today are with cameras, small cameras, recording cards and transmitting information. For example, one casino in Singapore got hit for $500,000 before they got caught. They were transmitting cards outside to another player who was putting them in an Excel spreadsheet and then transmitting information back to the player at the table on how and when to bet. And they beat the casino for $500,000. Now, technology aside, the most common scam that happens at casinos are dealers dumping the game. The dealers working in collusion with the partner, paying losing bets. If you lose, they just pay you. There are thousands of cameras.
It's just standard units max power. Just pick whatever character. I recommend Caucus or Goliath, but other than that, just do whatever. Max power.
Somebody's biggest joints. But a lot of the rooms are understaffed. The chances of them missing that move could be good. Illustrious soul, do you know how many cameras are in casinos? If you talk about a small casino off the strip, there might be hundreds of cameras. You go to a major casino in Macau, there are thousands of cameras. Now remember, and a lot of surveillance rooms are understaffed. However, these cameras are high def, which means they could zoom in and zoom out after the fact. Before, when they only had VHS tapes, you had 1 week and then those tapes were gone, they were erased. Today, surveillance could record that footage and then look at it a month later. Many companies that own several casinos are actually going into one surveillance room. So one surveillance room could be watching up to 4 or 5 properties. Now, even though companies...
I'm resting my vocal cords now, so I'm not going to respond much. I'm just going to give short answer to anyone who asks
stuff. If you get backed out of one casino and walk into another casino that's owned by a different company, chances are good a call was made already. So even though you walk into another company, surveillance rooms do keep in touch with each other. Let's see, news crash. How long until most casinos have computer vision, AI, keeping count and using that info to back off players? It's too late. It's already there. Many casinos have systems and computer software that keep tracks of cards and know if a person is counting. There's one casino in downtown Las Vegas. They actually take your driver's license, scan it, and have you look at the camera. So they know who you are, they know when you're leaving that floor, when you're entering the floor, how long you've been there, where you are. They can keep track of you from the moment you go on property to the moment you leave. Wise Me wants to know, can you false shuffle? That's a great question, because when a person's going to cheat, usually that's the first thing they learn. I'm going to explain to you and show you how to false shuffle, and I'm going to turn the top cards face up. The first shuffle, I pull back the top card, and that leaves a bookmark. We call it an in-jog, and I shuffle for real. But right below this ledge are the cards that I want to control. The next shuffle, I just push up on that bookmark and it forms a break right above the cards that I want. And I just shuffle them right back to the top.
I was at a Chase Sapphire Lounge and I saw a burger on the menu. I took a bite and I was like, oh, this is really special. Was it the bun? Was it the sauce? The blend of meat? Took another bite. I was like, yeah, I think this is one of the best burgers I've ever had. I would do a layover for that burger.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy, because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
The next shuffle was the Hindu shuffle. I just took them from the middle. I'm just shuffling them from the middle. That's all I'm doing. And I just kept those cards right here. Oh, this is a poker four. See those four aces? I go to throw them in the middle. The last second, I drop these and they go right back on top. But it looks like that. Then I pick these up, throw them onto the table. They're right here. I kick these out. I push them back to the top, and I just go like this. And now they look like they really got mixed. But those aces are under my control. This shuffle is called an in the hands riffle. They take the cards and they shuffle them like this. And all I'm doing is I'm just keeping these cards on top. How? The left hand, I let the cards fall faster than my right hand. And these cards go right back on top. And as you're talking and you're not paying attention to your hands, it's very deceptive. This is the casino shuffle. I keep the cards I want on top. When I cut, I hold a break right above them, and then I strip to that break. Now watch that face down. That's a false shuffle. This is from No Stupid Questions subreddit. Is it theoretically possible to put a camera in glasses that can accurately predict where the roulette ball will drop? Absolutely. There are people selling roulette prediction computers. I've seen demonstrations. I still have my doubts. Lawrence Scott wrote a great 2-volume treatise on visual wheel prediction, where you can mentally track the ball speed and the rotor speed. However, there are so many factors involved. You need a dealer to allow you to bet right up until the ball drops, which is a break-in procedure. Also, the way the roulette wheels are being manufactured today, the base is lower. So the cone, it's a lower profile. They're putting more deflectors on it. And all these are to help increase randomness. So I gotta be honest, it's not as easy as you think. Vashana Roy wants to know, can you hack the slot machines? I don't know. Now, can the casinos alter the machines? Absolutely. By the turn of a screw, they can make the machines looser, which means more payouts, or tighter, meaning less payouts. It is 100% illegal to make those machines where they cannot pay out at all, but it can be done. I was told by a slot tech that they keep the machines that pay more closer to the entrances. They're not the big jackpots, but it's enough to bring people into the casino where they think they have a chance. And when they go for the slot machines with the bigger jackpots, those are gonna be the ones that are tougher to win on. Dear Boy 157, how do you cheat sports betting? Well, in a casino, if you want a big money scam, you gotta get the dealer involved. If you wanna cheat at sports, you need the players. Arnold Rothstein set up the World Series, where they got the White Sox to throw the game. Aria Casino wants to know, what is chip dumping in poker? Chip dumping means taking your chips and purposely losing them to your partner to make them the chip leader. So if me and two other partners are on the table, me and my other partner will dump our chips off to the third person to make them the chip leader. Dank Poker wants to know, did Phil Ivey cheat and what is edge sorting? Phil Ivey is a world famous poker player. He became a baccarat player with a partner named Kelly Sun, and they were able to beat the casinos for millions of dollars. Now, is it illegal what he did? This is the biggest debate in the casino industry. Half the industry said this was cheating, the other half says he wasn't. So you're probably sitting there saying, what is edge sorting? Well, let me just give you a simple example. If I take this casino deck of cards, yes, there are circles in the middle, because before the casino sells them or gives them away, they drill them so they can't be reintroduced. If I take this deck and I shuffle them, and I'm gonna try and tell you where the 10s and aces are. Is that a 10 or an ace? No, it's not. It's a low card. How about that one, Sal? That's a low card. That's a low card. Oh, that's a 10 or an ace, I guarantee it. How about that one? That's a low card. This is a low card. There's your 10 or an ace. So you're probably saying, how is he doing this? Because of the manufacturing process on how playing cards are cut, it is impossible to cut a card evenly. This is called a diamond back. This card's a staple in the casino industry. If you look on this edge right here, you're gonna see this edge is a half a diamond, where on this edge, it's a full diamond. So in this particular deck, every card is cut the same way. However, if I could somehow get cards turned around, I could distinguish one from the other. Even though they're shuffled, if I look down, I see this is a full diamond. That is a low card. I see that as a half a diamond. That is a 10 or an ace. Very simple. The hard part is getting the casino to turn the cards around. So how did Phil Ivey get the casino to turn cards around for him? Well, first of all, Phil Ivey's a big gambler. Casinos want the money. So all Phil Ivey said was, we want the cards to become pre-shuffled and we don't want to wash. That's where the casino takes the cards and scrambles them all over the table. The casino says, no problem, no wash. Then he says, we want the cards shown to us first. And then we want to tell a dealer how to pick up the cards. Plus, we want to bet after the cards have been dealt. So let's play around Phil Ivey style. Now, Phil Ivey makes his bet, a little bet, we'll bet here. Now the casino showed Phil Ivey each card. If Kelly's son said that card is unlucky, she wants it turned over this way. Unlucky. That's unlucky. Lucky cards get turned over that way. So, because certain cards were turned over this way, certain cards were turned over that way, no matter how these cards get shuffled, providing they're not spun around, you could look down and see, wait a minute, big diamond, big diamond, big diamond, little diamond. There's your 8 or 9. So what does that mean? Bet big on the banker, because you have a big edge over the house right now, knowing this is an 8 or a 9. So those are all the questions for today. Thanks for watching Casino Cheating Support.
I love these videos.
What is the book you couldn't keep to yourself?
I didn't know who would even care about my book racks on TikTok.
Chaotic science energy.
Turns out it helped an entire community of people fall in love with reading.
You gotta read this.
That guy is very entertaining. He appears on a lot of interviews. I watched most of them, so. My video done processing yet so I can upload it? Nope. 66%. Suffering from success. Okay. What other video do I want to watch while I'm waiting for the video to upload or, finish? Yeah, I like watching documentaries like that. There's this really good scam documentaries about these scammers in Africa. These fake braisters, and they have like a huge crowd of like thousands. It's wild. Can't you imagine? Let's see, what's a good one I haven't watched yet? I watched most of these already. I know about the SPF. The SPF one has been covered too much, dude. We need more entertaining scams no one knows about. Bernie Madoff, everyone learned about this if you're an accountant. Uh, oh, this one seems interesting. This one has an interesting title. What is a CCN coaching live stream? There's nothing to coach about CCN. It's just
While some see
Playing on it's a pretty basic game. It's not like Mormon's where it's set, but there's a best option.
Keep and down.
$5,000. Don't play yourself.
I first heard about Ramon Abbas when he was arrested. It was a pretty big international news story. He was arrested in Dubai, and he was very quickly extradited to the US.
Ramon Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy, was responsible for a number of business email compromise scams.
But what he was most known for was being an Instagram influencer. He built a following of millions of people, and it was always very mysterious where his money actually came from.
According to the affidavit, he was charged with $30 million worth of fraud.
Hush Puppy is the #1 Yahoo boy in Nigeria. He's a role model to every Yahoo boy in Nigeria.
There are ways to look at Hush Puppy not as some kind of hero, but you can respect some of the things that he did and the way that he thrived in our current online social media ecosystem. One of the things people would ask me was, why did he post to Instagram? Like, he should have just kept a low profile. My answer ultimately was, why do you post on social media? I mean, he was doing it for the same reasons we all do it, to get some response from people, to feel his place in the world grow and be respected.
G for Gucci, you know?
When you look at the story from one layer, it's very simplistic, but the deeper you get into it, the more you see the complexities around how someone like Hush Puppy exists in the modern world. Ramon grew up in a neighborhood of Lagos called Oron Shoki. It's a bit of a hardscrabble neighborhood. His father drove a taxi, his mother sold bread and other foods on the street. By his own account, he always looked to sort of the ritzier areas of Lagos as a kind of dreamer, and he wanted to have more for himself.
Today we have an exclusive inside look at the internet scam that has been sweeping this country, based out of Nigeria.
When the internet arrived, late 90s, early 2000s, in places like Ramon Abbas's neighborhood, people would go down to the internet cafe, and one of the things that Nigerians discovered when they logged on was that oftentimes there was sort of a reputation that preceded them online. They were already viewed as being scammers because of the 419 scams of the 80s and 90s, which were basically either phone or fax or letter scams. This coincided as well with more difficult economic times within Nigeria, fewer job prospects, and so there was a community who sort of embraced that label, who decided, okay, I will figure out how to make money online, I will figure out how to take advantage of people, and they're actually incredibly innovative.
It started, as it almost always does, with an email.
There was a community of young boys who became known as Yahoo boys based on the free email accounts that were available for this type of scamming. I spoke to a criminologist in Nigeria, Adedeji, he spent a lot of time with Yahoo boys, and he actually lived for a time among them to study them, to understand their motivations, to understand their techniques, to see what became of them over time, and he knew a lot of the same people in Ramon's circle.
I had a very good relationship with them because I saw them as human beings. He was very popular in the slums, areas like Bariga, Ajegunle, Ijora, Mushin, because these are places where you have a lot of young boys who have very little life chances. Hush Puppy, Ramon Abbas. At that time, he was one of the very smart boys. He went very far. He met a lot of people who could help him improve on the skills of cybercrime, knowing that the kind of cybercrime we had in Nigeria in the early days was close to the 419, the letter scam.
He moved from Nigeria to Malaysia, and at the time in particular, there was a sort of exodus of Yahoo boys from Nigeria to Malaysia.
What happened?
Some bad people tried to hack me with sad affirmations.
Sad, Craig?
No. We're protected.
AT&T Dynamic Defense help protect us because small businesses need us.
So he's not sad. Guess we don't need these.
I think we do.
There are a variety of theories about why they moved there. The possibility that it was a little more lax, that the Nigerian government was paying a little more attention at that time. Also because there was more sophisticated internet architecture there in terms of how you could hide the location that your requests were coming from.
He moved closer to where he could have access to all of the tools. He wanted more information than what every other person had. And that was why it became what most of them did not become.
It seems like he was connected to several different flavors of scams, one of which was business email compromise, which is the most lucrative internet scam that exists.
Well, today, one of the largest scams attacking end users is called the business email compromise. The business email compromise seems really, really sophisticated, and during my career, I've dealt with hundreds of these incidents. The bad guys are able to compromise an email account of a business. Could be a small business, could be a large business, and it involves financial transactions.
You have a company, and the company is going to be targeted by the scammers. And usually they'll research the company. They're trying to find the right person. And what they do is a hacker gets access to someone's email account. So usually middle manager or someone in the accounting department of a company. Once they're in the email, they don't actually do anything. They just sit there and they wait. And they watch the flow of email in and out. And when they see invoices, that's what they're looking for. When an invoice comes in, they might spoof the email of the sender of the invoice, mock up a fake invoice that looks exactly like the one that just came in, and then send a follow-up email saying, this was not the correct bank account information, this is the new bank. So if the financial department is not looking carefully, then they are prone to sending the money right out the door. That's essentially what BEC scams are. Someone asked for this money who's not the right person, and you sent them millions of dollars.
Spend 20,000 you, okay?
I just spent 20,000.
Ramon had picked up the handle Hush Puppy in, I think, 2012. But it was really when he got to Malaysia that he started posting photos, mostly of himself. It was a kid from Lagos on the rise. Here are the luxury brands that I'm now consuming. And he started mixing that with a kind of self-help mantras and a sort of prosperity gospel, you know, the hustle. His followers started sort of ticking up over time. And then Hush Puppy began a friendship with Mumfa, who's a very, very well-known influencer in Nigeria. And Mumfa lived in Dubai. That seems like the time when he started to see that there was another level of opulence. There was another tier of lifestyle that he could be living. And so he packed up for Malaysia, moved himself to Dubai. When he moved to Dubai, he really entered this world of truly high wealth individuals, which included obtaining a penthouse apartment, closets full of designer clothes, shelves of unopened sneakers that had only been made once, sneakers that had been made specifically for him, and a basement parking garage that was full of cars like Ferraris, Bentleys. He's sometimes now flying on private planes. He's one of the guests of honor at the Formula One race. He's being invited to big events in Dubai. And so he's kind of entered this upper crust of some of the most wealthy people in the world.
Everything you want to talk about the Hush Puppy. You Hush Puppy do this, Hush Puppy do that. Just leave me alone. Talk about yourself.
The difference between Hush Puppy and the other Yahoo boys is the fact that he went international. Then he went to the social media to show off all of these things. But As per recklessness, they are all reckless. Even those who are not on the international scenes are also reckless. That's the way they live.
So Hush Puppy's 37th birthday, it was all kind of, at that moment, it felt like it was really coming together for Hush Puppy. And he posted about that. He posted about how far he had come. While that birthday celebration was happening, the sort of seeds of Hush Puppy's downfall had already kind of been sown.
Well, he made the cardinal sin in organized crime. He flaunted his wealth. He brought a lot of attention to himself. He made himself appear to be a national hero. But when you are out there and you are flaunting all of this information, there's so much open source intelligence that he was just providing about himself.
The FBI arrested a Canadian money launderer, and his name was Galeb Alamari. When they arrested Alamari, he had a phone on him in which there were contacts for Hush Puppy, and there were message exchanges with Hush Puppy. What they came to believe was that Alamari and Hush Puppy were sort of part of a loosely networked group of people who were committing BEC scams and moving the money around the world. Oftentimes, there would be hackers who would hack into the email accounts, and the FBI later concluded these were North Korean state-sponsored hackers who had actually committed billions of dollars worth of crime around the world over the past 10 years. Alamari would connect up with Hush Puppy, ask him if he had any bank accounts, and when a big BE score was about to happen, Hush Puppy would provide a bank account that could receive millions of dollars that were about to be transferred out of a company.
As we enter the AI supercycle, latency becomes a currency. And that means that data needs to be...
The crimes that they were accused of included the large-scale hacking of a bank in Malta for $13 million, a BEC scam on an American law firm for just under $1 million. The biggest one was an attempted BEC scam on 2 UK companies, both of which were for around $100 million, and one of which was an English Premier League football team. In early June, June 8th, Hush Puppy was asleep upstairs on the second floor of his apartment. There was a bang on the door, and then suddenly the apartment was full of people with guns. At first he thought they were victims of an armed robbery, but then it quickly turned out it was the Dubai SWAT team, and they had come in fully kitted up. They were ready for war. He was whisked onto a plane within, I think, 24 to 48 hours and sent to the US.
If you are to classify Hush Puppy, how would you classify him?
Busted.
I give a lot of credit to the FBI agents who arrested Hush Puppy, but we are not going to arrest our way out of this problem. We took one bad guy off the streets, but how many more of them are out there? I think even though we believe Mr. Abbas is a major player in this, he's only a bit player in the entire infrastructure of the complete organization.
There are just so many actors and so many elements in these schemes, including organized crime in places like Russia, in places like Brazil, that it's really, really hard to make a dent, I think, in the power of the BEC scam. To me, one of the tragedies of this whole situation is that because of the reputation of scamming in Nigeria, law enforcement there, particularly with the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, they ended up using scammers and Yahoo boys as just a pretext.
All of a sudden, they're on the streets arresting every young guy for being involved in cybercrime without any evidence. They just pack a group of young boys, they force them to say a lot of things, and then boom. It became one of the reasons why we had what we had in Nigeria last year.
For weeks now, there have been demonstrations against police brutality across Africa's most populous country. Protesters accuse the now disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, of torture.
They've been notorious for extrajudicial killings and
harassment, especially of young Nigerians.
NSAS in Nigeria was a big deal last year. A lot of lives were lost. And up to this moment, we are still trying to pacify young people. Cybercrime is not a problem of Nigeria or for Nigeria. It's a problem from every part of the world. We need a global cybercrime law. If we have a law, and we also have global law enforcement agencies, then we are moving towards managing cybercrime.
That was interesting. I don't have any particular tips for you in general for that without knowing, and my brain is plenty fried. I was gonna wait until this video is done. I'm not gonna be able to upload it. It's 91% done, and I still have to upload it for an hour. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head to sleep for like an hour or two. And I'm gonna do the coaching stream. I'm gonna end the stream right now, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours.